Hmm.
How do you tell somebody that you care about deeply, I told you so?
Hmm. Hmm. Ah! Sorry, just having fun with my avatar there. Folks, there are so many people with virtually no intellect in this world. And if you need evidence of that, all you got to do is find one of the putzes out there who thought, hey, this JK guy, bro, he's no good. Steve Kerr's a genius, bro. He's a genius. Brandin Podziemski's amazing, bro. I know this person, but I crossed paths with someone today. Just a random person. Doesn't matter who it is. And they like Brandin Podziemski. And of course, after that Nuggets game, he's puffing his chest out because that's what Podziemski supporters do. They get all boisterous and arrogant when 1 out of every 5 games on average, he has a so-so performance. When I say so-so, like he's putting up stats that mean nothing, like rebounds for a guard. I don't want rebounds for my guard. A guard grabbing rebounds doesn't translate to winning. It's the most random stat ever. You know what I want from my guard? Scoring, assists, excellent three-point shooting to space the floor. I could give 2 shits about rebounds from my guard or charges. And the player that the Warriors just gave up on had his debut tonight. Huge surprise. It was amazing. Already blowing up in their faces. Warriors lose tonight in New Orleans, the Big Easy. One of my favorite cities on the planet. One of the greatest cities in the world, in my opinion. Well, the Warriors were there. And the Pelicans came into this game with a 16-42 record. They're now 17-42 because they beat the Warriors tonight. Final score, 113-109. Let's talk about it. Jim D's in our chat saying, I'm sick right now. Be great, JK. Damn it. Yeah, it's a begrudging happiness for the now departed member of the Warriors because he's no longer a member of the Warriors. Oh, but yay, Brandin Podziemski is. Woohoo! Let's talk about it. We're powered by FanDuel, and the program's called the Golden Day. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to the show. My name is Cyrus Saatsaz, your host for the evening, coming to you live from the Golden Day Studios in beautiful West Sonoma County, California. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at Dog Wild, over on Twitter at Surf Journalist, the program on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. Mentioned just a moment ago that the program is powered by FanDuel. The Warriors are back in action tomorrow, back-to-back on the road against 2 very bad teams. If you don't get a split out of that, it ain't a good look. Even crazier is when the Warriors travel to Memphis tomorrow, they're playing a team that just lost at home to the Sacramento Kings. I'm not making that up. I think the Kings snapped a 16-game losing streak at Memphis tonight. Let me get that score. Was that tonight? Or maybe it was yesterday. It was yesterday. Okay, so even better. So the Grizzlies have an extra day to let that loss fester so they can come out like gangbusters tomorrow against their Golden State Warriors. Oh, yeah, and the Warriors won't have tonight's FanDuel player of the game, DeAnthony Melton, because he's still not playing back-to-backs. Oh, that should be fun. But yeah, you don't need Kuminga, right? Not at all. Riz in our chat mentioning Kuminga's stat line, and we'll talk about that in a bit. in his Atlanta Hawks debut. Side note, Jalen Johnson got hurt. I don't know what the injury was, but I think he left after 5 or 6 minutes of play. Yeah, 6 minutes of play. And Kuminga comes in, drops in 24 minutes of play, drops 27 points, dishes out 4 assists. One more than Podziemski had tonight. Brandin Podziemski had just 3 assists tonight, and he's the point guard. 7 rebounds. He was 9 of 12 from the field, 3 of 4 from deep. Weren't there a bunch of morons out there saying this kid couldn't shoot? Not on this show. We were right! Also a 6 of 7 from the free throw line, a plus 16 in net rating. Look, it's just one game, and you know the apologists, the folks who will make any excuse for Steve Kerr and this incompetent leadership, if you can call it leadership, with the Golden State Warriors. You're going to hear them say, well, it was just the Wizards. Yeah, well, guess who the Warriors just played tonight? The Pelicans. And they couldn't beat them. Yet you're going to value Brandin Podziemski when he can't lead your team over the New Orleans Pelicans? Odds men's out in our chat writing. Kuminga is going to be huge in Atlanta, and they already love him. Great. Does a lot for us here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and or if you have an emotional attachment to the Golden State Warriors. Well, here in the Bay Area, we watched the Warriors lose tonight, 113-109, the final in New Orleans. And I was talking about FanDuel real fast here. The line for tomorrow's game in Memphis, the Warriors are favored. Al Horford is expected to play. Big Al not playing in back-to-backs, just like DeAnthony Melton. Melton will not play tomorrow. Al Horford will play tomorrow. And the Warriors, 2.5-point favorites, courtesy of FanDuel. The money line, if you think the Grizzlies are not going to put up with 2 straight losses at home to the Northern California clown shows, it's plus 132. That's the money line. The OU, 226.5. Courtesy of FanDuel. And if you're asking yourself, what happened tonight? Why did the Warriors lose to the hapless Pelicans? Well, the first half was an utterly abysmal performance by this team offensively. The Warriors at the end of the first half were trailing 46-39. 39 points and a half, no bueno. That's bad offense. And they rallied. They had a decent third quarter. But in the fourth, New Orleans put it away. Zion Williamson looked pretty good. Had 26 points to lead the New Orleans Pelicans, adding 6 boards, was 11 of 21 from the field. And for the Draymond Green haters out there, the folks who think that this team would do better if Draymond did not play, and I'm not sitting here necessarily pushing back against that, but I will give Dre credit for his defense on Zion and for his defense on the Pelicans bigs in general. DeAndre Jordan is back in the NBA. I somehow missed that that news story. But the Pelicans rolling out DeAndre Jordan to start this game. Derek Queen, who in tonight's graphic, by the way, if you watch this game on NBC Sports Bay Area, they were getting facts wrong left and right. For example, they mentioned that Derek Queen was the 23rd pick in the most recent draft, when I could have swore he was 12th or 13th. Derek Queen, the player responsible for the Pelicans giving up their first-round pick in next year's draft to the Atlanta Hawks. Smart. But nonetheless, Draymond at least giving the Warriors a semblance of physicality and defense. Offensively, a whole other picture, though. Draymond, we'll start with him in terms of the box score, and then I'll go back to Melton, again, our FanDuel player of the game tonight. But Draymond at least did not put up a triple single. That's always the biggest laugh, at least from my perspective, when it comes to Draymond and his numbers. Those triple singles are just ugly. Yeah, G4M in her chat adding, oh, no, not that one. This one. Writing, imagine Podziemski over Kuminga with a laughing emoji. Yeah, that's the reality we face here. This show's competition has people out there, and I'm not making this up, and thankfully there were people, folks in social media aggregating these clowns who actually had the ignorant audacity to say that they take Brandin Podziemski over Cade Cunningham. Another competitor of ours refuses to even criticize Podziemski, with the hypocrisy of simultaneously having no hesitation to criticize Kuminga. There is nothing authentic out there outside of this show that's also accurate when it comes to covering the Warriors. It's just all cheerleaders and homers and just a bunch of buffoons who just want to be. I don't get what's going on in the world. I don't. There was a time not too long ago when meritocracy mattered. I don't know where meritocracy exists in this day and age, but if you want a clear-cut example of just the utter nonsense that's happening in this world, start with the Warriors media coverage, which is entirely in the pocket of Steve Kerr and is entirely all about just positive spin. It's like there isn't a lot positive about this team right now. There is not. This was an awful look for your Golden State Warriors tonight. Not only do you lose to the New Orleans Pelicans, who came into this game tonight with a 16-42 record. To give you some perspective on that, the only teams worse than the New Orleans Pelicans entering action tonight were the Sacramento Kings, the Indiana Pacers, the Brooklyn Nets. The Wizards, incredibly, have a better win percentage. Or at least they did. No, yeah, they do. They have a better win percentage than the New Orleans Pelicans. So for any clown out there that wants to diminish what Kuminga did tonight for the Hawks, point out the fact that Brandin Podziemski, who routinely gets the most minutes for this Warriors team, couldn't lead his squad over a worse team, the New Orleans Pelicans. Literally. And so this was the disaster. That is Golden State Warriors basketball on February 24th, 2026. We're officially in that stage where most other shows will just kiss Steve Kerr's ass. Most other shows will just pretend things are not as bad as they really are. They just gave up a prized asset for nothing. We had one audience member, I think Barber, was that the handle and name? Who nearly a week ago was joining me live saying, I can't wait to have a Kristaps Porzingis debate with you, because he, like a lot of folks who just drank the Steve Kerr Kool-Aid and still does, thought it could have been a good trade. Kuminga for Pingus. There are people out there who thought that was a good trade. Unfreaking believable. And of course, Podziemski's supporters will be silent on a night like this because they're inauthentic, because they're clowns. Side note, huge surprise. The clown I was talking to today, and again, I'm safely at a conclusion now where every one of Steve Kerr's supporters, and those almost always line up with Brandin Podziemski supporters, fall into one of two camps: casual observers or trust fund babies. And of course, this guy I talked to today was a trust fund baby. Why is the trust fund baby aspect of this important? Because trust fund babies don't know what it's like to be a victim professionally to favoritism, to awful management, who subjectively screws you over professionally because they just feel like it, because they use loose verbiage that's subjective, like fit, to do whatever the hell they want. And so those folks have no perspective of what it's ever been like in their lives to need someone with more power in the hierarchy to reward them because on a meritocratic basis, I hope that's a word, you earned it, but this manager decides, it's just not a good fit. I'm just going to roll with the people I like. I'm just going to roll with my favorites. And now Jonathan Kuminga is lighting it up with the Hawks, and Brandin Podziemski is being mid for the Warriors. But going back to Draymond Green, sorry for the 5-minute tangent there on whatever. I'm just frustrated because, again, this is a dark day for the Golden State Warriors. A prized asset you traded away in 24 minutes, dropped 27 points, a borderline perfect stat line for Kuminga tonight. And the Warriors, meanwhile, lose 113-109 to the New Orleans Pelicans. And Draymond Green, not a triple single, thankfully, because he had 11 points. So at least he hit double digits in scoring. Added 7 rebounds, 6 assists, only had 1 turnover in this game. So for the Draymond haters, and again, I'm not disagreeing with most of you in the sense that I don't think Draymond without Steph has a lot of value for any basketball team, but I'm also not going to say that tonight was his fault either. There were bigger issues at play here. But D'Anthony, and we'll talk about that, but D'Anthony Melton really quickly, our FanDuel player of the game, 28 point. I'm sorry. Let me go back 5 seconds. In 28 minutes and 11 seconds of play. So he went 3 minutes over his minute restriction, and the broadcast crew tonight, Bob Fitzgerald, Kalena Azubuike, were mentioning that the minute restriction could be lifted soon, which will be exciting. Because again, Melton's one of the very few real basketball players on this Warriors team. And it was a fantastic performance from him for the most part. Again, in 28 minutes and 11 seconds of play, he had 28 points. When you're averaging a point a minute, that's good. You're doing well out there. Was just 3 of 10 from beyond the arc, but for 30%, not great. The Warriors in general did not have a great shooting night. Shooting just 24.4% from deep. And in case you're wondering or thinking to yourself, I could have swore they were shooting a lights out just a game ago at home against the Nuggets. This is a classic example of road versus home. On the road, your role players will not typically hit the shots that will fall at home. And tonight was a textbook example of that. I'm not saying Melton's a role player per se, but as the team shooting 11 of 45 from deep for just 24.4% three-point shooting, that is not good. That is bad. That's ugly. And so despite the fact that Melton was 3 of 10 from deep, the rest of the stat line, solid. 9 of 11 from the free throw line. The fact that he had 11 free throw attempts is impressive. 4 boards, 3 assists, added a steal, a +9 in net rating for D'Anthony Melton. 28 points tonight, a team high, our FanDuel player of the game. Moses Moody, I thought, also had a solid outing tonight. He was second on the team in scoring, 24 points for him, 5 boards, 3 assists, no steals or blocks, so no measurables defensively. Only had 1 turnover. He was 4 of 10 from deep, so 40%. Amazing how just one more made three-pointer can make such a difference when it comes to efficiency. 3 of 10, 30%. Not a number you rave about when shooting from beyond the arc. 4 of 10, now you're at 40%. Ooh, now we're talking. Those are some good numbers. But Moses Moody continuing a solid stretch of games that dates back to the end of December. Tonight, 24 points, again, second on the team. Led the team in net rating with a +13 for what that's worth. And again, just 1 turnover. The player who led the Warriors in minutes tonight, Guy Santos, a.k.a. Gooey, 1 of 4 from deep. That's not good. But he did have 15 points. He did have a career high 12 rebounds, a double-double for Gooey. The one massive stain on the stat sheet for him, though, he also had 2 steals, but he had 6 turnovers. Ugh. Did not foul out, so that's a good thing. But going back to the threes, if you want to know where the contrast is between home games and road games for most players, I'm not talking about star players. I'm talking about role players who represent most of the NBA. This is where the Warriors struggled tonight. Guy Santos was 1 of 4 from deep. Pat Spencer was 1 of 4 from deep. And Pat, by the way, has been struggling as of late. Played 23 minutes, 7 seconds tonight, 5 points, 4 assists, 2 boards. And as I mentioned, 1 of 4 from deep. A player who had, in my opinion, just had a bad night overall. Quentin Post with Al Horford sitting out this game because, again, he does not play in back-to-backs. Quentin Post picked up the slack, at least minutes-wise, playing 22 minutes, 55 seconds. Did grab some rebounds, at least. He had 9 rebounds in this game, but only 6 points, and maybe most egregiously on his part, 0 of 4 from deep. Brandin Podziemski played 31 minutes, 52 seconds. Do I wish 15, maybe 20 of those minutes went to Will Richard? Yes. Do I wish the remaining 11 minutes, 52 seconds went to two-way player Malachi Leons? Yes. Did not happen, though. So Podziemski played, again, 31 minutes, 52 seconds. 7 of 18 from the field. 1 of 6 from deep. That is not good. No way to spin that. The one positive for Podziemski tonight, he did have 15 rebounds. But again, that's not, that's not what you're looking for with guard play. Elmore, thank you, brother, for the compliment. Ray Endeman, what is up? Right back at you. Julian Bashir, appreciate you. Oh, what's this? Wordman is going to celebrate a birthday in 4 hours approximately. Happy early birthday, my friend. You're turning 71. Do the Warriors not realize how many folks out there? Hell, none of us have infinite time. We're all on the clock. What are the Warriors doing, wasting all of our lives and our time with this trash, which starts with, and I know trash is harsh, but I'm looking at the press, my TV screen right now, and Steve Kerr is at the podium. I pray on everything that is holy, on anything that may or may not be listening. Please replace that head coach when the season ends. If the Warriors end up getting a decent draft pick this offseason, I don't want him anywhere near it. Why would anyone want that man poisoning your young talent? The head coach of the Warriors is toxic when it comes to young basketball players. He's only had faith ever in his 12 years as head coach of the Warriors in one young player, Brandin Podziemski. Dollar store Dre. That's how poor he is at talent evaluation. He thinks Podziemski's the one young player who should get minutes. Why? Because he can dribble, bro. Because he hustles. Like we're in grammar school giving out participation ribbons. This is asinine. And I bring this all back to Wordman. And what are the Warriors doing? Just wasting all of our times with this nonsense, tapping into nostalgia, prioritizing the wallets of Silicon Valley over the fans who maybe are a bit more down to earth and who are probably far more passionate and more empathetic to this team than any of the clowns who can afford those ridiculous season ticket prices at Chase Center. As long as Waymo is happy, as long as Google and other tech sponsors of the Warriors are happy, apparently that's all Joe Lacob and company care about these days. Hey, Steve Kerr is a great PR guy for the tech companies. We got to have him for that. It's embarrassing, man. This is so ugly what is happening with the Golden State Warriors from a leadership perspective at the top. Something is very amiss. It stinks. It doesn't make sense. And for those who thought, nah, man, the torture's not back. Oh, it's back. This is what it felt like being a Warriors fan my entire childhood, all the way up until I was in my early 30s, when Stephen Curry and company finally started to, I guess basically when Steph finally got a role, when he wasn't fighting for minutes with Monte Ellis in a crowded backcourt and whoever else he had to eventually beat out to get a full-time role, and he had the ankle injuries. But this is dark, man. We are back in torture. And Brandin Podziemski finishing with 16 points because, again, scoring is not his cup of tea. Did have 3 turnovers as well, tied for second on the team lead. The Warriors as a team, 21 turnovers tonight, led by Guy Santos with 6, DeAnthony Melton with 3. At least Melton scored 28 points. Pat Spencer with 3. Brandin Podziemski with 3. And one other player, by the way, going back to the three-point shooting for the Warriors being abysmal. I mentioned Guy 1 of 4, Pat Spencer 1 of 4, Quentin Post 0 of 4, Podziemski 1 of 6, and GP2 0 of 4. GP2 had 1 decent game shooting threes. That was that last game against the Nuggets, and came into this game with the irrational confidence of someone who had rediscovered his three-point stroke. Nope! Wrong! GP2, love you, but 0 of 4 from deep. Please stop doing that. GP2, you are not a three-point shooter. That is not your game. Where were the back-cut screens that we were so accustomed to against the Nuggets? I didn't see a lot of back-cut screens tonight. Or not back-cut screens, just cuts. Where were the cuts? It's like one of the only good things this Warriors team does. Just cutters everywhere. I didn't see no cutting tonight. Saw a bunch of bricks from the three-point line and a bunch of mediocrity and ugh. And then meanwhile, the New Orleans Pelicans, who, side note, did not have Trey Murphy III playing for them. DeJounte Murray playing in his first game in a year after blowing out his Achilles. Side note, he looked damn good tonight, especially with a year layoff and this being his first game. DeJounte Murray, 13 points. And Saddiq Bey, another player that the Warriors could have had, but they decided to bring in GP2 instead. Saddiq Bey with 18 points, 6 boards in this one. DeAndre Jordan, who's 50 years old, showing his age, looking his age, but against the Warriors actually looked pretty good. Bad Hombre in the chat saying that a lot of Kuminga supporters were in the chat for Locked On Hawks. Well, why is that? I'm missing something here. What I'm missing is how the Locked On Hawks are feeling about Kuminga. Like, did they support that trade? Were they bummed about that trade? Like, was there a reason to spam the guy? Like, was he actually coming out saying, nah, I'm going to listen to the idiots out there who think Kuminga is not a good player because he didn't fit in Steve Kerr's super advanced, brilliant system. I'm being massively sarcastic saying that in case you can't pick up on it. Some paid chats. We'll get to the audience here in just a second. Brooklyn, no opinion. Thank you sincerely for a lot of support lately from you, and that includes these paid chats dropping $1.99. Writing, seeing Kuminga do what he did tonight for the Hawks in his debut. Again, in case you missed it, or you're tuning in a little late here to the live show, Jonathan Kuminga in his Hawks debut tonight, 27 points on 9 of 12 shooting from the field, 3 of 4 shooting from deep, 6 of 7 shooting from the free throw line. So for your true shooting nerds out there, I'd say those are some damn good numbers. Adding 7 boards, 4 assists, and a +8, +16 net rating, all in 24 minutes. But in Steve Kerr's mind, the delicate genius, he couldn't play for over a month. OMG, it's Manny dropping $1.99. Hope you're doing well, friend. Joining us, I believe the first Golden Dazer period. I believe OMG, it's Manny. If I read your DM correctly the other day, you were bragging, and you were bragging to the right person because I loved it. That you were literally the very first Golden Dazer. Thank you. Writing, my time is limited and I'm still watching Podziemski. Oof. In case you folks out there are new to the program or are just simply not following along with what Manny's trying to say here, Manny came on our show recently and revealed that he has a heart condition, which means he could live a long time or he could drop tomorrow. Very morbid shit. Sorry for going to that level, but that's life, man. There's a lot of reality that isn't always pleasant in this world around us. And Manny, literally just making one wish. Trade Podziemski. It just is. I don't know how people even get pleasure watching that dude play. It's just mediocrity at its absolute finest. Just like Podziemski reminds me of a guy like if Steve Kerr pointed to the crowd and just basically looked at someone and said, "You look like an NBA player. Just get out there. We'll just start playing you right now." That's what Podziemski feels like to me as a basketball player when I see him play. All the mocking that you hear some people in the modern day bring up when they reference older players from the 70s and before that, calling them plumbers and contractors or whatever the denigration is. That's Podziemski. Dude looks like a plumber out there. Dude looks like an electrician. Just someone who just picked off the street and just said, "Go play." It's unbelievable. And again, it sucks that like this rhetoric makes me sound like a Podziemski hater. I have nothing against him personally. This is all ultimately Steve Kerr's fault for continually playing this kid and for continually having no iota of a clue what NBA talent represents. All right, link is in the chat if anybody wants to come on. If you have opinions about the Warriors, about Kuminga being on the Hawks, about a stinker of a loss to the New Orleans Pelicans, one of the worst teams in the NBA. Maybe you want to talk about tomorrow's second of a back-to-back on the road where they're going to take on a Grizzlies team that just lost yesterday to the Sacramento Kings at home, which snapped the Kings' 16-game losing streak. Which version of the Grizzlies are the Warriors going to get tomorrow? Is it going to be a team that's vengeful, pissed off, wanted to come back and make up for an ugly-ass loss? Or are the Warriors facing a team that is that bad? And then if they lose that game, how much worse of a look is that going to be? Whew. Well, whatever you want to talk about, you came to the right place. Or maybe you just want to come on the show and say, "Sai, you're an absolute idiot. You're missing a lot when it comes to Brandin Podziemski. Dude grabbed 15 boards tonight. I like my guards grabbing 15 rebounds. I like his hairstyle. I like the fact that even though he shoots awful, maybe you like the form. Maybe you just think Steve Kerr is infallible and every decision he makes is like the Midas touch." I don't know what's on your mind. But we start with Julian Bashir. And Julian, you have a lot of people waiting, so if you don't mind brevity being an important variable here, if you don't mind that, only because I don't want to be rude to everyone else. But Julian, you bring the heat, and I'm sure you're going to bring it again tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What I want to say, Cyrus, you're great. I
Thank
think
you,
I might have said
Thank
this
you.
before, but I wanted to remind you, when you were on Locked On Warriors, I was watching that show, then you disappeared, and so there was no alert of how to find you. And I was like, where is this guy? So I didn't even know your name because you just tune into a show. So I had to like go and watch old Locked On Warriors shows to see if your name was mentioned. And then I had to like search the YouTube, and then I finally found you. So I just want to say you have a great platform.
Thanks, brother.
The way you set it up, the engagement, And I think you have some really close fans. So I just wanted to
thank you,
give
brother.
props
And
on
hopefully this is just the beginning, because there's gonna come a time, Julian, when Steve Kerr is gone and we finally have a blank slate and we could actually analyze this Warriors team without all the bullshit politicking that's completely like that's been like a poison to following this organization. It's a very toxic atmosphere, man. There's a desperate need for some fresh blood, in my opinion. I could be wrong on that, but that's just me. But Julian, thank you, brother. And what's on your mind?
I want to address something in the chat. Like it's a very small minority, but when people say, "Oh, Kuminga's gone, why are you still talking about it?" It's very relevant if you're a Warriors fan.
And tonight is relevant. Like if you're going to talk about it, tonight's the night, because this was his debut for the Hawks. People were anticipating it. Do not mistake the amount of pressure that Kuminga himself was feeling. He knew that a lot of eyes were on him because this was a test. Tonight for Kuminga, this was a barometer for who he really is. And I know it's just one game, but if he had played awful tonight, that would have been a lot of fuel for his haters and detractors and the people who just will fall on a sword for Steve Kerr. Mm-hmm. There was pressure there, and he handled it exceptionally. Especially with Jalen Johnson going down. He didn't have his best teammate with him for the night that he had. So tonight's the night is what I'm trying to say. Tonight, talk about JK if you will.
One is it's probably going to be the most intriguing story for the rest of the season because it's going to be on all of the basketball podcasts. The reason why it's important for if you're a longtime Warriors fan, and I know people say, "Oh, let's move on." I'll give you an analogy: is that you can love your country, but you don't have to. But you can disagree with a lot of their decisions.
Yeah.
So if you're a Warriors fan and you do not have to be blindly loyal to their decisions. So let's say Canada, for example, they used to love Justin Trudeau. And then after a while, Justin Trudeau overstayed his welcome, made a lot of bad decisions, and the majority of Canadians turned on him. And so I'll say Steve Kerr is probably the Justin Trudeau of the Warriors.
That's a great call. Because and just adding to that, Julian, you're right, man. There are a lot of people in positions of power who overstay their welcome. Yeah. And I think Steve Kerr is a textbook example of that. And me personally, man, this is just me. As someone who grew up a Warriors fan, loves this team, I want him gone so I can revere him again. I want to think back fondly on the Steve Kerr era, and every game that passes, every day that passes makes it harder, at least for me, to do that. And I know when he's gone, I'm going to start having fond memories again, and I'm going to start having nostalgia myself, but he's still there. Go away, please.
Yeah.
Go away.
No, I was going to say, just like a country's leadership can make your life more difficult. As a Warriors fan, your life is more difficult now as far as what you're rooting for, because and the reason why this goes hand in hand, because Steve Kerr has told you for 3 to 4 years, let's just say 3 years, that he cannot win with Jonathan Kuminga. And in multiple stints over the last 3 years, Kuminga has shown that he is exactly the player that he went out on the court today and did, what he went out against the Wolves and did, and many other stretches when he beat KD and scored 34 points on them, when he scored 34 points against the Rockets and beat them single-handedly, and so on and so forth. And so for the immediate future, it doesn't have to be forever. And but when the coach says, but DMP's the guy because, we need to win because we're championship aspirations, or I can't win in this system. If the Warriors end up with a worse record than the Hawks, which is only a 2-game winning streak and 2-game losing streak away, by the end of the season, and if the Hawks go further in their playoff run than the Warriors, then the decision that not only Steve Kerr, but the organization of the Warriors have allowed him to make is going to be detrimental to the future of the Warriors for at least 5 years. And this may go down as one of the worst trades in NBA history top 5. And the more recent ones I could think of is like the SGA trade by the Clippers, and also the OKC Thunder letting go of Harden. But the difference between those is when the Thunder let go of Harden, they had a future with KD and Westbrook and still got 2 MVPs out of them and playoff runs. When the Clippers traded SGA, they still had Kawhi, Paul George. They had a plan. They had a future. The Warriors do not have a plan. And at the moment, there is not a future. Your future is a 39-year-old star next season, a 36, 37-year-old coming off an ACL next season. And you're saying you don't want to tank. And also the team has showed you that they make bad draft decisions and also bad trade decisions. So even though those 2 trades of those previous teams I mentioned were bad, they at least had a plan and a reason for why they did it. There's no light at the end of the tunnel right now for the Warriors. And this is why this is a subject, because you said I cannot win with JK. And we see in this very first game everything. Oh, and you mentioned something, Cy, when you said does Locked On Warriors like Kuminga? They have multiple hosts, and I hate using like race, but I'm just gonna say the white guy of Locked On Warriors. He brought on 95.7, one of their hosts, and he bought into their narrative. And he accepted, like, okay, well, he's all the things that they say he is. Like, he doesn't get teammates involved. He's selfish. He's a turnover prone, all those things. Kuminga tonight proved that everything that you say that, or not you, but the pundits say that he isn't. Oh, he's selfish. He wasn't selfish tonight. He passed up shots. He got his teammates involved. He should have had more assists. I watched the entire game, Cyrus, and they said he can't shoot free throws. And the other day on your show, I broke it down. His first 8 games, 85%, 6 for 8 from free throw. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. 6 for 7, and also 3 for 4 from 3. That's the Kuminga that we've seen when he's gotten proper playing time and belief in the coach. And real quickly, Side, the one thing I saw watching the game tonight was a huge difference between Steve Kerr and Quinn Snyder when dealing with Kuminga. Because I believe Quinn Snyder and others, because there's been comments by CJ McCollum, also Jalen Green about how great this guy is, and also the Hawks GM understand who Kuminga is. And you see Kuminga's practicing with the Hawks his mid-range and pick and rolls. There was a play tonight where Kuminga he was in the mid-range and he was doubled and he forced up a shot. And Quinn called his timeout afterwards. I don't think because of that missed shot, because the offense had got stagnant because Kuminga had scored 18 points in the third quarter, and the rest of the Hawks team wasn't really they didn't acquiesce in the fourth quarter. Like, okay, let me continue to get Kuminga involved. So after the timeout, it might have not been the next play, but the next opportunity that Kuminga had, the mid-range was cleared out for him, and he went one-on-one, pump fake, and then he did a right-handed hook that got him his 27th point. Now, the reason why I say the difference is because Kerr would have seen, his first missed shot as a bad play, instead of seeing that, the team is playing congested. This is what the player can do. There's a reason why he's doubled in the mid-range. Let me call a timeout. Let me speak to my team and say, this is a good play if you clear out space for him. And then he got the space, and then he scored the basket for his 27th point. And that's the kind of belief that Warriors fans were hoping to ask for from Steve Kerr. Because I gave you a quote where Kerr said with Pods that he believes in him and he wants to help him move forward after his inevitable tough nights. And why couldn't you do that with any other player? Yeah. So right now, the Warriors are going to be living a bit of a karmatic curse by doing this. Anyone that's watched basketball for a long time, like Wordman, he's a pro Kuminga person, probably because he's been around the block a few times. I think I've just gotten over my first round of the block, because I told everyone I was a Kobe fan. When he retired, I had to reevaluate. But you saw things happen. You have the unrealistic belief as a fan, he's coming back from his Achilles, he's going to win a championship. No, that was never realistic. You start to understand the energy and flow of certain things. And the reason why I think it's not Pod's hate. It's because the Warriors chose him, and we understand that. It's like it was Kuminga or Pods. And you said it earlier, we don't ask our point guard to grab 15 rebounds. And one of the things that people that don't understand the game, like when I just broke down the mid-range and the timeout, is that what is it costing the Warriors for Pods to get those 15 rebounds? Because a point guard is not supposed to be leaning or diving back into the paint that often to get that, because you're leaving a lot of people open. So tonight was kind of just a lesson, microcosm. Everyone that went crazy over the Nuggets game most likely are going to lose against the Grizzlies too, because it's a back-to-back, and the Grizzlies have been playing scrappy lately, and that's kind of like the karmatic balance. Like, oh, you beat a contender because you're the trap game, and now you're playing 2 other trap games because you're slightly better than them. And those are just some points I wanted to throw out. But
those are good points. Those are good points. I think you make a particularly good point about Podziemski and those boards. I mean, the fact that he's crashing the glass as much as he is for a guard makes you wonder if he's out of position defensively where he should be. And again, that is not what you need from your guard, man. Like your guards should be facilitating, creating offense, defending the perimeter. I don't know how you're defending the perimeter when you're getting 15 boards either. It's just the least impressive stat I could see for considering like the minutes he's getting and the role he has, and it doesn't blow me away. And one other thing about Kuminga tonight, real quick, that I don't know if I heard you mention this or not. When he first came into the game, he didn't start, but he was on the floor for nearly 10 straight minutes. Mm-hmm. And that's something Kerr would almost never do with Kuminga. Like you'd see these like short stints, a 5-minute run, 6-minute run, even less if Kuminga was doing something Kerr didn't like. He'd get the yank immediately. With the Hawks, Quentin Schneider just put him out there and was like, just play. Yeah. And that is what you should be doing with nearly every player on your team. Not trying to control them, not trying to get in their head and ruin their confidence. Just especially for a young player, just let them play, man. Like,
what Quinn did. Kuminga had a hot first quarter, and he let him start the second quarter because he was on a roll. And he did the same thing the third and fourth, because Kuminga had 18 in the third, and he's like, okay, let me roll out with you in the fourth. And I didn't read anything about a minutes restriction, but of course, your first game with the team, there's still a pecking order. But I think Kuminga has slowly inching his way into he's probably that team's leader. Think about the mentors that he's had: CP3, Iguodala, Butler, Draymond Green, Curry, even Al Horford. He's an NBA champion, and he's had probably more playoff experience than anyone combined on the Hawks outside of CJ McCollum.
He has a ring.
So, yeah. And honestly, it's not even just the ring for me. It's the fact that he's had multiple playoff battles. Like he was pretty much the he wasn't treated as a number one option, but he took those reins when he came into the Wolves series. And I mean,
my guess is CJ McCollum is the veteran on that team that the young kids are looking up to. With that said, I agree with you that Kuminga has immediately thrust himself into the upper echelon of veterans on that team for a 23-year-old. That's kind of wild, but the Hawks are young.
And I'm not saying that he is this player, and because a lot of people that are low IQ, they always take the headline. I'm not saying Kuminga is Jordan, but Kuminga is now Jordan for the Hawks, as Jalen is Pippen for the Hawks, because their games are not. Everyone tries to say, "Oh, they can't play." Like, watch the games; they're not the same player. Jalen is taller. He's lankier. He's a Swiss Army knife. Kuminga is the any part of the floor scorer, and I think they're going to be able to complement each other well. Last thing I'll say, Cy, is that the energy and the you feel from the announcers, like on the Warriors, every time Kuminga did something, it was, oh, don't do that, or you shouldn't be doing that, this, and this. And even though Kuminga can't hear the announcing, but you feel those vibes. The Hawks announcers were loving Kuminga. They were saying, get him the ball, get him the ball. And they were actually praising, like, oh, yeah, he's a great passer. He's a great rebounder. All the things that they said that he's not for the Hawks, he is. And that was a beautiful thing to see, because those that are Warriors fans and saw that his potential from day one. It's sad that he's not here, and it's sad that the Warriors organization chose a coach over the team. And Armando always said, you never choose the coach over the player, because you could have this right now if you had belief. And the difference between the two styles of play is that I believe Kuminga struggled because he was playing with players that he had to cover for on defensive end, and the ball wasn't quick with the athleticism on the floor. A lot of Kuminga's points tonight were super easy because he was the one that benefited off of other people's athleticism, and he's just an athlete that comes on there, and he became the number one athlete on the team. And it's just a huge different vibe. March 21st is going to be a crazy game. Sai, I'll let you get to other people in the chat, and I just hope that people understand that the reason why this is a subject is because Steve Kerr told all of you we're going to win without him. Let's see what the end of the season has to say. Take care, Sai.
All right, Julian. Thank you, brother. Have a great night. And Julian, if you're still listening, I got your email. I'll get back to you on the Substack thing. Side note: Golden Days has a Substack page, and we get these amazing emails. We'll get to the mailbag if there's time permitting tonight. Actually, the mailbag I'm going to get to tonight is an Apple Podcast review. If you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast for the program, we will read your comments. It'll be in the mailbag section. And so we got, interestingly enough, again, the mailbag. We'll dive into that scene. Help us out, because the Steve Kerr haters out there. Our rating's good. It's like a 4 out of 5, something like that. But that ain't great, and it gets tanked entirely because these moronic Steve Kerr apologists will go on there and try to sully this program. We're like the only one who criticizes them, but even that's too much apparently for these nimwits out there who just hate hearing negativity pertaining to Steve Kerr. I want to get some fresh faces. Roy, have you been on the show before? How you doing, man? You look familiar.
Yeah, I've been on the show before, man. It's Ray. What's going on?
Oh, Ray, I'm sorry. I said Roy. My apologies.
It's all
Ray,
good.
It's
been a minute. What's up, brother?
It's been a minute, exactly. You look damn familiar. Love the hat, by the way. How are you doing? What's on your mind?
Hey, man. So the show has been great. Keep doing what you're doing. Things will gain more traction. The ratings, don't worry about it.
Are fine, actually. We are easily the number one show of all Warriors shows in terms of measurables. So we're doing fine there, but it doesn't mean we're satisfied. I mean, there's still a long ass way to go, and I routinely come across people who still are like, "This is where you are" from the Locked On days, and it's like, yeah. So we're just starting, man. Again, I cannot wait for the Steve Kerr era to pass, so we have this clean slate, fresh start, and then all the remaining folks out there who just don't like the Kerr criticism. Sorry, not sorry, but I am sorry that you don't like hearing that, but. What do you want me to do? Censor myself? Do you want me to be fake and sit here and just put positive spins on everything? That's not how life works, man. That's not how I roll. And again, I don't want to sound like everyone else either. But once Kerr's gone, I think that's just going to be a next step in kind of hopefully shifting things more positive and actually focusing strictly on hoops and not Steve Kerr's like inane, minute distribution, rotations. Like I want a fresh start, man. Ray, I don't know how you feel about this, Ray, but I'm ready for some new blood. That's just me. How you doing? What's in your mind?
I'm doing good, man. The thing about Kerr is that he's had some ups, he's had some downs. He either needs to change or he needs to leave, one or the other. And it seems like it's leaning towards he needs to leave, especially with, Kuminga. He made him look silly tonight. I mean, he's putting up the stats he put up right now. It's like, dude, you don't think like the Warriors could have used a 30-point guy tonight or a 27-point guy? Sorry, you know what I mean? Like he drops in tonight, they get the W, even though they effed up in the first quarter. It's like, and why does it take a whole quarter for Kerr to get it together? It's like, Kerr, you need to not wait till after the first quarter to make it get together. You know what I mean? Like, but great effort on everybody's part tonight because you figured it would have just been a blowout, I thought they were going to lose by 20 points or more, but it was a close game at the end. They kept fighting. Good props for them. I feel like the Tingus Pingus pick was more of a reach to get something like a Bogut because they haven't had a piece.
Sorry, go ahead.
Right. No, it's all good. Man. It's all good.
Gonna play it. Yeah.
It's all good, man. I love the drop-ins. It's all good.
Just to interrupt you 1 second, Ray, but I want to add, if there's anything to give a credit to Steve Kerr for, it's the fact that his team has not given up. Like, they have not quit on him. They're still trying every game, and that is commendable, man. Like that deserves some credit. But that's not enough for me to just keep rolling with this either, man. It's one of the only positives I'm seeing. But go ahead, yeah.
No, I totally agree. You can't be dropping L's like this against the Pelicans. That's just embarrassing. And Kerr got embarrassed twice, by himself losing to the Pelicans, and then also by, Kuminga going off and, doing something serious, where if he just would have managed the minutes better, it's like, dude, you look at Steph, you look at Draymond, even Jimmy Butler, they're getting older. And it's not that they can't start them, man. Give them 5 minutes in the first quarter, roll into a second string, and let Kuminga lead it. Give Kuminga some guys to stand around him. How about Kuminga post, and then you get someone like Spencer who can distribute to give it to Kuminga, and you could get something going. Then you put Will Richard in that. I mean, dude, you're going to start to get a crazy second string line that could actually dominate, play some serious minutes, then lean back a little bit in the late third, give the fourth quarter to Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy, and let them close it out, and they'll be fresh. I feel like if they just played minute management better and get a few more bigs, they could be all right.
The problem, Ray, that with what you're saying is it's making too much sense. They don't do that. So, you're right.
Right. I mean, Kerr's not going to do that. I mean, it's just, I don't know what Kerr's problem is other than the fact that he's stuck in his glory days of when he played with Michael, and he thinks, Steph is Michael, and he thinks that, Pods is himself. And so he's like, oh yeah, let me just play my boy. It's just like me when I was with Michael. And it's like, dude, it's not working. It's not going. Get off of it. I don't know why he's so committed to Pods. It's like he's going to sink the ship based on that. It's like, dude, you already have seen it. You don't need more games to see if he's going to just miraculously change and then become something that is going to carry the Warriors. Dude, dump Pods or leave him, dump him back to 5 or 10 minutes. Bring up some other guys that are going to be able to do their minutes,
You're absolutely right, man. And again, what I'm guessing Kerr sees in Podziemski, and this is why the nickname just stuck with me, Dollar Store Dre. I think he sees Podziemski as another Draymond Green, but there are fundamental differences. Starting with defense, Podziemski is not a good defensive player, and people just love to ignore the fact that half the game is on that side. So if you're not delivering defensively, meaning if you're not staying in front of your assigned a player that you're supposed to stay in front of, and you're supposed to make life difficult for them, you're a liability. And so half the game, he's a liability, and that alone is a problem. He also doesn't have a Draymond size, the wingspan, the athleticism, the strength. It's just Dollar Store Dre. Whoever came up with that,
for sure,
bravo, dude. Because it to me, it rings true more than anything else. But that's just
Ray,
where are you joining? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
I was gonna say he has his nights. He's sporadic. He's very he does have his nights to where he'll come in and he'll drain some shots, but it's like, dude, you can't. He needs to be like the third string. He needs to lead the third string, put GP2 and him and a couple of the other, these other guys on a third string, let them play a few minutes. And like I said, if they just would have had some minute management better, we could have kept Kuminga and done really well. But I'm surprised to see the game turn out like it did tonight, because the Warriors should have dominated. They should. I mean, I thought tonight, I'm like, easy W, no problem. It's going to be good. And then, we'll keep going and build some momentum. But nope, it's like, at least they didn't get blown out by 20, though. Honestly, I was like, dude, we're going to lose by 20 tonight. This is fucked up. I was pissed earlier. Oh, pardon my French. But I was like, I was pissed earlier having my beer. I was like, God damn it. I was like, not again. But,
what kind of beer? They came back, though. What kind of beer were you drinking?
Oh, I was having some, shit. What was that? Fuck. I forget the name right now.
And while you're thinking about that, Zico Bond in our chat with another nickname, Timu Pods. I like that as well.
Right.
But Dollar Store Dre is just because I think that's what Kerr sees in Podziemski, like this guy who can run the floor offensively and who, a sort of a playmaker, a tough dude who's durable. Draymond doesn't miss games, right? But he's a poor man's version of it, like a dollar store. Again, I like the Timu Pods, although maybe Timu Dre would be more appropriate. Yeah.
Dre's tired. He's worn down. You know what I mean? He's not who he used to be. He's an excellent player, but he's not. He needs, like I said, they just need to dial his minute back. And, but he's doing everything he can, though. I give him props because you can tell he's fighting, but it's like, dude, this is like, you ever seen some old people fight or it's like, you go to the bar and see old people fight. It's like, dude, you should not be doing this right now. And I don't mean to hate on Dre because I love Draymond, but it's like, it kind of seems like he's the old person fighting at the bar. It's like, you need to just sit down and have your drink, bro. Shit.
I was just thinking about old people fighting. I don't know why I was reminded of like the old Cal and Stanford head coaches. There was like this lunch 15 years. It was a while ago, but there was this luncheon where they were bringing like some old characters from the big game back together. Once upon a time, like in college football, Stanford and Cal had this like really huge rivalry. I don't know if it's still the big deal that it was, but so the big game at the end was a big deal. Started to be redundant, and they had a luncheon for like the week of the big game one year,
right?
Where the head coach of Stanford and the head coach of Cal from like 30, 40 years ago and they did not like each other. I think Jack Parr was the name of one of the guys. But yeah, they were like 80 something years old and they just still hated each other. Like the animosity was still there, and people were like just embarrassed about them. They're like, no. But just two old guys with canes, just whacking each other. It's unbelievable, dude. Did you remember what the beer was?
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember the beer? What was the beer you're drinking? My curiosity is killing me.
I'll tell you right now here because I think I have.
Right now, go to it. Thank you. And where'd you get that hat, by the way? That hat's savage. I feel like I told you that last time too.
No, you did. I always wear this hat when I come on because it helps. It helps,
hat, dude. Yeah.
I got this. This hat was a gift. I got it from an ex-girlfriend's brother. It was really cool. He gave me this hat. But anyway, yeah, no, I still rock it. I'll still rock it. So this is what I'm drinking on right here.
That isn't beer. What is that? What are you drinking?
No, this is beer. This is called Phase Dust, and it's by Ellison, and it's really good. It's 8.2%. It's really good. It's a tall can, bro. And I have the cold mug too, so we be chilling.
You got the koozie. You got the koozie keeping your hand warm. But that looks like one of those like energy drink alcoholic beverages. It's not. That's a real beer.
Yeah, no, it is. Usually they have a black can, but this is a different version. It's from Seattle, believe it or not. Wow. But
and Wordman telling us, by the way, chill on the old people shit. Wordman, 71's not old, man. In the modern era, you're still kicking ass. I think you still got a few good runs left in you, brother. Wordman celebrates his 71st birthday at midnight tonight. I think what we're talking about does not factor you into this, Wordman. We're talking about like senile, barely can walk people who still are down to throw punches, and it's funny as that. So is T Kubler in our chat, right? That's an IPA.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Bravo.
Yeah, it is.
Bravo.
Yeah, it's IPA. It's a hazy IPA. Here, I'll give the can real quick for everybody to see again.
It's a crazy can. The can makes me gave me the impression of an energy drink. What is that? Is that an artichoke with a face on it? That's the logo.
I believe so. Yeah, no. Normally, there's another kind that they have. It's called Space Dust, which is everybody knows that kind. But this one's called Phase Dust, and there's also another one that they haven't made in a long time. Believe it or not, Cy, it's called Dank Dust, and it's made with marijuana.
Yeah, I'm not big on those green drinks. Are you?
That one's delicious. Oh my God, Cy, I know you're a smoker. Try that out. You'll like that.
But not the drinks are weird to me. I don't do the drinks. Like what's funny for edibles, like when it comes to weed, whether it's gummies, like
no, it's a beer, but they still have marijuana in it.
I've seen that at the dispensaries. But you know what I roll with, man? Like, I don't know why more people don't. They sell these tablets like pills. And really? You just pop a pill and it's like bam, hour and a half later. Especially like if you're like me, like I don't do edibles in the day because I'd just be tanked out. I definitely can't do it before a show like this. But for going to sleep and stuff, hell yeah, man. I mean, it's just you're in a good zone. And it's just a little tablet. So if you brush your teeth already and suddenly you're like, oh shit, I really want an edible right now. Just pop. And they sell them at every store, man. But that looked good. That looked like a good tasting beer. What's the difference between that one and the space haze? What's the difference?
The space dust one is just it's I believe it's a double IPA, and this one's a hazy IPA, so that's the difference. But so this one's just a little bit lighter, you could say maybe. But I like the flavor on that, and it's strong. Both of them are pretty strong, and throw it in a cold. Hazy
is a relatively new nomenclature referring to a lighter beer. That's what they call it. Hazy?
Not really. I would just, you can get like a hazy IPA. It's just like to me, it's like a lighter version of IPA. If you go get like a double IPA or IPA, it's pretty dark. You're going to have pretty strong. You're going to have some strength in there, some strength. And then the hazy is going to be slightly lighter, more like an amber, a little bit, style, if that makes sense.
No, I'm thirsty. You're making me thirsty, man. I want a beer right now. I don't.
And then
what's
when
behind you, is that a president?
Game, it's great to have knock back, right?
Exactly. What is that a portrait? Is that a president? What's going on behind you? What's that portrait?
That's not a president, actually. That is a gift from my aunt. So it's a family member from way back. I have some old family paintings, and so she had
royalty. You're royalty. Look at you. Who's actually, that really?
It's my great grandfather's uncle, and his name's Philip. It actually is family member.
So that's your great uncle.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Great. Yeah. That would make sense. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I have some other.
Man.
You want to see some old stuff right here? I'll give you a quick flash. Here's my.
I thought that was like a portrait of an old president, but if that's a great uncle, even better. Who's that? Is that the same great uncle?
No, that's my grandfather right there.
Wow.
Congrats,
right. On the familial roots, brother. Like
Yeah.
I like that your family keeps track of all that. Impressive.
I have. Well, I mean, I do. I'm kind of like the person in the family that's into all that stuff. So then over the years, like the family members are like, hey, I have this, like, here, hold on to it. Like I have like my grandpa's desk and some other stuff, some cool paintings and pictures of the family. And
where in the world are you? Are you here in California?
Yeah, I'm here in the Bay.
Oakland or whereabouts? I can't remember where you told me before. I'm sorry.
Over in San Jose. No worries.
Where are you at?
San Jose.
Oh, San Ho. All right. Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
You know how we do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The Super Bowl was in your backyard not that long ago. And
dude, my buddy has a house that's near the Niner Stadium, like within a few miles. And dude, he made money the last time they had the Super Bowl was there. And he made a bunch of money this time too, because he just Airbnbs it, dude. Because so many people want to go stay for over there. It's the money's stupid. It's like, I'm like, dude, bro, you didn't have to work for like 2 months. Like, that's just like, people pay, cash for that, so.
Before you go, how serious is that energy plant thing, drama? I don't know if you've been following this, but like supposedly there's some sort of like a transformer or power plant. I don't know what it is, but it's near the Niners facilities. And it makes me wonder: is your friend worried about going sterile? Like what's the story there?
He rents that house out now, so he's not there all the time, But yes, definitely concerned about that stuff. And I will say this: coincidentally, I was watching, paying attention to this stuff. If you watch Delaney Walker, former 49er, did an interview on Bussin' with the Boys and talked about it. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we may have signed some stuff, not supposed to talk about it, this and that." Something has to do with it, basically saying there's something up with it. And then like a week later, interviewed about it, and he echoed the same thing Jed York said. So if you look at what Jed York said, Jed York was like, oh, it's been going on we've had that thing since the 80s. There's nothing, to see here, basically. And then if you look like a week or two later, Delaney Walker said the same thing. I'm like, dude, he got a call from ownership, was like, you need to like change what you're saying. And he did. There's definitely something on there. And actually, Christian McCaffrey had his trainer reach out to a famous doctor and surgeon to consult about this whole thing. And that surgeon has come out and said there is something to it. So I feel there's something going on with this, but the Niners are trying to keep it on the low and trying to say too much, but it's not a good thing, man. And I think it's going to affect free agency a little bit because
it might. I mean, dude, if I wouldn't want to be near that thing. Like, keep it far away. Before you go, Ray, someone in the chat, I forgot to highlight it, bringing up another point that's may or may not depress Warriors fans, which is that the Atlanta Hawks, they didn't just get Jonathan Kuminga for a bag of fat-free potato chips. They also have the Pelicans draft pick in next year's draft. Like, God damn it. I envy Atlanta, man. I mean, I don't want to live there, but I want what's going on with their franchise right now because nothing but good things are happening. And I don't know if we could say the same about the Warriors. Anyways, Ray, always a pleasure, brother.
Do you know how long they have him for a contract real quick on Kuminga? Do you know how long they have him? Because I heard that they only have him for a short period. Like they have to try.
Well, Kuminga's contract is next year. It's a team option. And I think it's about $25 million. So what's going to happen in all likelihood is the Atlanta Hawks will approach Kuminga after this season and say, let's scrap that. Let's just give you a new extension. And he's going to be a long-term Hawk. It also begs the question. I know it's just one game, but think of how much money Steve Kerr cost this kid, because every other draft pick with his talent and in that draft, like they were getting contracts. Like Jalen Green to me is the most relatable comp. A guy who similar non-college background, right? Played a year of G League back when that was a thing for potential rookies. And then so he came into the league with mostly potential as his selling point. And the Rockets still gave him $150 million. And you look at Kuminga with the Warriors, and they begrudgingly gave him $50 million over 2 years. When on any other situation, he'd have hundreds of millions. Franz Wagner, a case in point, largely based off potential as well. He got a $250 million contract extension, taking a pick after Kuminga. So you can imagine the resentment that JK and his camp have against Steve Kerr, man. That's hundreds of millions of dollars potentially gone because of that one dude. Crazy.
Do you think that Joe Lacob is pissed about this? I mean, if you're Lacob, I mean, he didn't really want like Kuminga to go, and then now he sees Kuminga go blow up over on the other team. He's got to be pissed. I'd be pissed if
Until recently, I thought Joe Lacob was a man who was sensible and logical, kind of like what you brought to the table at the beginning. And now I can't tell if he's just saying the right words so that the end of the relationship between the Warriors and Kerr is friendly, like it's not contentious. I can't tell if that's what he's doing or if he genuinely loves Kerr and just trusts them. And like because if that's the case, then no. My guess is Lacob right now just doesn't give a shit. And if that sucks, is what I'm trying to say. Like what I've come to the realization of is I thought Joe Lacob had the potential to be the next Eddie DeBartolo, like a local Bay Area, a franchise owner who has one mission in mind. That's winning. He was going to go there at all costs, commitment to excellence. And now I'm thinking, is he that guy, or is he just someone who is perfectly content with just the status quo, which is just, mediocrity, an 8 seed, 2 games above 500. Like, I don't know what's going on there anymore, man. That to me might be the most depressing part of all this, because if you had a competent owner, you'd move on from this coach by now. You sure as shit are not bringing Mike Dunleavy Jr. back next year. I don't like, who knows how long of a leash that guy has. I'm losing faith in him by the day, man. This Warriors team is in trouble. That's my take. This is not a good situation. And Kuminga leaving and having his debut look like this, not a good look, man. It's not a good look.
I agree, man.
Sorry to be depressing. Sorry to end it on a down note. Good news is you got some tasty beverages there. You've got rich family history. So, Ray, things are looking good for you, I think. So,
absolutely. And there's always another game, right?
It's just a game. Yeah, exactly. Still a long season to go.
Another game. They always have another chance to play and get the W. And not only that, but, the fire's going to be on Kerr now. I want to see how Kerr responds, because I know the ownership's going to be on him. Fans, everybody's going to be on him, because after this game, it's interesting to see what the pressure is going to be on him and how he will respond. Maybe he'll do something. I don't know. Hopefully.
Yep. I wholeheartedly agree with you. All right, Ray. Thanks so much, man. Good to see you again. Beautiful. That was Ray joining us from San Jose, sharing some family history. Is this Billy DeBono, or is this a different Billy? Billy, you're on the show.
Can you hear me? You're connected to my. Okay, cool. Not Billy DeBono. I've never been on the show. I've watched.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Okay. I've been watching.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. This is my first time ever being on the show. So
welcome.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of the show and what you're doing. You have really, really great analysis. And so how I even came across the show, I don't even know. It's crazy because I'm a Kuminga fan, and just been monitoring the situation with him and Kerr all these years, and then today to see what happened was just I couldn't wait. You don't understand. I was thinking about you. Pause. I was thinking about you the whole time because I'm I can't wait to see what Cyrus gonna cook up. And it's just
I had to apologize to my dog Bubba, because I'm watching this Warriors game, and then I'm watching the Hawks game on my phone, and I was losing it. I was so pissed, and then and then I'm on the phone with my buddy, and I'm just livid. And then I look down at Bubba, and he's looking at me "Is everything okay, Dad?" And I'm like, "Shit." And then you got to recalibrate there. But dude, I mean, look, if you're a Warriors fan, this I don't know how you can sit with this and be comfortable and be copacetic with things. This is a bad look for the Warriors, man. This is the worst. This is why they were not going to trade Kuminga to the West, because if he was with the Kings right now, My God, dude, you'd have to see this guy 4 times a year. Like, are you out of your mind? So, there's a good reason they sent him east. With that said, this is an awful look for the Warriors.
Oh no, it was terrible. As soon as the trade happened, if you have common sense, it was just a salary dump move, because you couldn't, you were not getting any picks back. You weren't getting any players that you would actually play. This guy Porzingis, he is we don't know what he has. Like it's been years now, and we still don't know what he. And it's just a whole. But I want to harp on a couple things. But I want to start off. I think it was
this, by the way, just to add to that, this was very predictable, right? And again, that one audience member, Frank B, if you're out there listening, thank you, brother. Your shit. And he's the one who raised serious awareness about POTS, the T standing for tachycardia, relating to your heart and how serious of a condition this is. This was predictable. And I agree with you. Yeah. This was a salary dump, because you're not trading for Porzingis with the expectation he's going to give you real minutes. He's going to be dependable. No, this is the expectation. He's going to miss time because of illness. He's not with the team right now. He's played 1 game total. I'm getting more Seth Curry vibes here than anything else. It's this is ugly. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah, Porzingis, a shout out to him and his agent, because he's scamming. Whatever team he's on, he is scamming, running up a bag. But I was saying, I feel like 2 things. One, as far as Warriors fans, what I've noticed, because I've been locked in watching Kuminga and this whole situation, painfully watching this guy Kerr just terrorize him. But I feel like it's a divided fan base. There's the fans that love Kerr and love Pods and all these whatever, just role players. And then there's the ones that actually want to see the team win and by any means. And those are usually the ones that understand that JK is the truth, man. And that's what hurts the most, because they could have had this. This was this was the now and the future. 2 years ago, that game though, the most memorable game, I feel his coming out game was against it was against Atlanta, ironically, when he went 11 of 11 against Jalen Johnson, and he was just going crazy. And it was and was it you have to remind me, was it before the game or was it after the game where he went to Shams and that report came out where he felt that Steve Kerr was not going to be able to.
It came out the next morning is when it came out.
Yeah. Okay, I thought, I didn't know if it was before, but it's just ironic that that's the game and that's the team he goes to. It's just it's poetic justice, man. It's just so beautiful. But the other thing I wanted to harp on was, I don't know, I think it was you who I saw the tweet earlier, but you were talking about, or it might be somebody else, but you were talking about the minutes and how he played 9 or 10 straight minutes. And I have never seen Kerr do that with Kuminga. But you see him do that with Pods, especially, and all these guys. He just lets them make mistakes, but he never allowed Kuminga to play through it. And that's just you cannot develop like that. 2 things, confidence and rhythm. You have to catch a rhythm. That's how you're going to get confidence. And he kept on playing with that, and he wonders why, that's why he's not playing good. But no, that's not the truth. And he still managed to play good throughout all that bullshit. What do you think about that?
I agree. I brought up the extended run that Kuminga had in his first appearance, where I think he played 9 or 10 minutes straight. And there was a tweet as well. I saw something on social media, so I don't know if that's what you're thinking of. But I think you're right. I have no disagreement with you. I envy the Atlanta Hawks right now. I think they're set up they're set up in a position to be a very entertaining, a potentially title contending team. Not this year, clearly, maybe not next year, but in the near future. It wouldn't surprise me if that's what they evolved into. And then you have the Warriors, who are directionless. If you're a Warriors fan, what are you supposed to look forward to? What are you supposed to get excited about outside of Steph and Curry? I also saw this report about Steph, who's been dealing with the runner's knee. And I think it was Richard Jefferson who brought this up today, with the same Richard Jefferson of ESPN, who, side note, I don't know if you folks saw, there's a clip out there of, and I can't remember the name of the player. I don't know if it was Trey Jones of the Wizards. I think that's who it was. But Richard Jefferson was interviewing Trey Johnson.
Trey Johnson.
The third.
Yeah.
Did you see that clip too? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah, I pay attention to all this stuff, so I keep up with everything.
So Trey Johnson, if I remember the clip correctly, and I'm going to try to pull it up right now so we all can see it. Just point blank asks Richard Jefferson, "Dude, have you always been bald?" And
yeah, I saw that clip. Yeah, that was funny.
Here it is right here. Here it is right here. I got to show this. this is too entertaining for people to not see. Here, what this is, if you have not seen this before, I'm going to mute you for 1 second, Billy, just because I think you're in your car or something like that, and I want the audience to hear this clearly. But Trey Johnson, a really fast clip here, just to give some levity to the show. Sat down with Richard Jefferson and asked him this.
Do you have any other questions you'd like to ask me? You always been bald. What are you laughing about? Do you have any other questions you'd like to ask me? You always been bald. What are you laughing about?
And for the folks who remember, here I'm unmuting. Oh, Billy, where'd you go? Are you still with me? Oh, there you are. You're unmuted now. For the folks who don't have a recollection of Richard Jefferson early in his career, like when he was with the Nets, or even he played for the Warriors, I think, for a year near the end there, he's always been bald. So I think it was a valid question. It's like, has this guy ever had hair? I mean, are there high school pictures of him with hair? All kidding aside, Richard Jefferson, what he said today was alarming. Richard Jefferson on ESPN said, did you folks notice Steph in that Nuggets game never sitting down? And I noticed it, but I didn't think anything of it. And then Richard Jefferson added, yeah, that people with runner's knee don't like to bend the knee. It can hurt. And he thought it was a huge flag that Steph was standing the entire game to actually make his knee feel better. That was some alarming shit. I'm not familiar with runner's knee. I'm not an expert on it, but I have heard that it can be an issue where sometimes like bending it causes more pain because of all the sensitivity there. That is a flag, dude. So if Steph is not coming back anytime soon, if we're looking at a season that's over essentially, what the hell are we looking forward to? Why did the Warriors trade away the only young asset that we can be excited about? For what?
Yeah, the runner's knee, like you said, I've never heard of it either. I don't think a lot of people are familiar with it. But like the only thing that I think about when I hear that is like that injury when it comes to baseball, the elbow one. What is it called?
Tommy John.
Yeah, like a Tommy John. That's what makes me think about. I don't know, but I don't know if it's that severe. It definitely isn't, because Tommy John, they usually have to like miss a lot of time. As far as like you have looked, huh?
Or maybe you're referring to tennis elbow, because Tommy John is a very serious one where they have to take a ligament. But tennis elbow is like a more chronic type condition where it has to do with, I think, I can't remember if it's a ligament or a tendon in the elbow, but it ain't good.
Yeah,
it ain't good.
No, another thing, I'm glad you brought this up. I wanted to bring it up too. As far as the Mike Dunleavy, it's like you said, what do Warriors fans have to look forward to? And like the short and simple answer is nothing, because like I want to know like Mike Dunleavy or Bob Myers, like I feel like he's seen the end coming. That's why he stepped down, because he's seen where this was going. As far as like you said too, I thought this whole time Joe Lacob was like, he actually had common sense and he was in his mind and he understand like, yo, we're trying to win, but like at the same time you're juggling. Like I don't know if it's like if Steph wants Dre and Kerr to stay around. That's what it seems like, because why wouldn't you vouch for JK? I don't know why any of the team wouldn't vouch for JK. And like when it comes to Kerr, like, yo, what are you doing? He's literally like our third best player, and you're not, and you want to DNP him because of politics or your own personal feelings.
Steph the GOAT in our chat writes that Kuminga left because the situation was toxic and Kuminga didn't fit the system. As Rick Barry said on this show, Kerr's job is to make him fit.
Exactly.
Not to just be stubbornly stuck on your own ways. And if he doesn't acquiesce perfectly to the iota of what you want, that you just ship him off, that is not good coaching. There's nothing resembling sound leadership with that, dude. It's embarrassing that Steve Kerr literally put his own egotistical desires ahead of what's good for the team. It's really bad. Steph the GOAT also asking who would you hire instead of Kerr? What I've always said is Brent Barry's my personal choice for who I'd hire. Same background as Steve Kerr, man. Both guys really becoming notorious, and we're learning about their thinking through their broadcasting career. Brent's also a fantastic color analyst for Amazon Prime, so he's back in the broadcast booth with these Prime broadcasts, formerly in the front office with the Spurs, spent a year as an assistant coach with the Suns, and his dad's a Warriors legend. So, you're checking off literally every box if you hire Brent Barry. Outside of Brent, you could go a veteran route, whether it's Mike Malone, whether it's Willie Green, formerly of the Pelicans. And I know that stint didn't work out, but I like him as a coach. I think Willie, who's a former assistant of the Kerr, would be a sound head coaching choice if that's what you went with. There's also a myriad of bright young assistants who you could also hire, and maybe that's the best choice, just because whoever is the next coach needs to be able to relate to this generation, because Kerr clearly can't. Like, this generation of players, they do not respond well to the military type leadership or military type direction that Kerr seems to expect from his players, where he just barks orders and they just say, yes, sir. Like, that shit does not fly in 2026 with this younger generation, man. They would rather die in a hill of go F yourself if you're going to talk to me like that than just literally obey like the good soldier. So whoever the next coach is, I would prefer to be someone younger for relatability reasons, but those are my picks. I would say if you want 3 names just off the top of my head, Brent Barry, Willie Green, Mike Malone, but I don't have names in front of you just because I didn't prepare tonight, but there are a good number of assistants on NBA staffs. Don't give me a college coach, please. Give me someone who's an assistant right now. And again, there's 3 or 4 names. I don't have them memorized right now, or any one of those 3 names I just mentioned right now. Point is, there has never been a better time to replace your head coach in the NBA than right now. I don't remember there ever being so many positive potential applicants for that job than this moment. I mean, 10, 12 years ago when the Warriors were trying to hire Steve Kerr, their backup plan was Stan Van Gundy. All right, there are no Stan Van Gundys this time. The Warriors have some decent options out there. Move on from Kerr this offseason, I beg, because you do have some choices you can go to, but that's just me. I don't know. What about you? Do you have any names for who you want as a head coach?
For sure. There's I think you definitely have to go young for sure. Like a good person, like a good name that I've been paying attention to was or it's like an example was like Jordan Ott. He's been doing really good with the Suns. Yeah. And but my my favorite young coach that's been that changed the franchise around right now is definitely Charles Lee. Like what he's the culture he's set over there, him, and then I think him and Con Knipple have done tremendous work, because what he's done, especially with LaMelo, getting him to lock back in when he because he benched him a couple games, made him come off the bench in back-to-backs, and I know that's probably because he was slacking off, and now you see them, they're in the play and they could potentially get out of the play and make a playoff spot. So it's just you got to start really young, and that will be
agreed. One of those, by the way, we're always honored and obliged to have Nicholas Kerr, Steve's son, in our chat.
No. Nicholas Kerr, man. No, sir. You got to go with him. He ain't coming back. Nick Kerr. And I can say that because I'm black.
Dude, your response to that was perfect. Bravo, sir.
You set me up, man. You set me up.
You win tonight. If I have the time and energy, I will make a short out of that. Those take time. That's the only reason why Manny, for example, I said I'd make a short with his appearance. I still haven't done that. Those things are time consuming, but that was brilliant. Billy, you were awesome, man. Any final thoughts or words before we let you go?
Oh, no, dude, I'm just can't wait to see. Oh yeah, the last thing I didn't get to bring up was unfortunately Jalen Johnson got hurt, and I wanted to see what that was going to look like today. So hopefully his injury's not a serious one, but I can't wait because I know it's going to be.
Billy, I already got his face. Do you know anything?
It was a hip flexor. It was a hip flexor for Jalen Johnson. Yeah. That's Kuminga. He got poked in the eye, but he was fine. But Jalen Johnson was just a hip flexor, and he came back out. He sat on the bench during the game, so it looked like, I don't know, maybe we'll see. But
okay,
yeah. But as far as that, just that, and then as far as the Warrior situation, it's just a hate watch at this point because I don't have to pay attention to them besides watching Steve Kerr. Hopefully now you can see it's time to move on. It's been time to move on, and him and Draymond, they gotta go, both of them together.
What did you think about Draymond's performance tonight? Because he's been getting a lot of criticism lately, and again, I'm not pushing back against it. I also don't think he's the problem per se, but I'm also at the same time, I get it. Like, he's a liability offensively. He's not the same dude defensively. I personally, my choice, again, this is just strictly an opinion, and it's not a strong opinion, but if it were up to me, I sit him when Steph doesn't play. I don't get the point of Draymond Green when there is no Stephen Curry. It looks awkward. It doesn't typically translate. Just find excuses and let him chill when Steph's out. That's my take on it. I don't know. What do you think?
His career is so funny because, like, being labeled a Steph merchant, dude, like being known as a dude that's only good when you're around another person, it's just so crazy to me. So yeah, like him playing without Steph, and even when he does play with Steph, he doesn't really like put up crazy numbers. He just sets up screens, gets them open and whatnot. But yeah, like he definitely deserves the criticism because, like you said, he's such a liability. And it's just so funny because, like, Kerr, like you said, the favoritism and the nepotism, like being able to just be that bad and still get like confidence from your coach, it's just crazy to me. While another guy like Kuminga is actually talented, gifted, and willing to and he's showing you how valuable he is, but yet you still want to play around with him, which is crazy. So I don't feel bad for it.
Before you go, what are your thoughts on Jeff Riggenbach in our chat writing that Joe Lacob is going to make Draymond Green the next head coach?
That's a joke.
I don't know if he wrote that facetiously, but there's a certain layer of truth to that because Joe Lacob has said publicly in years past that Dre is his choice. And Draymond used to say that he doesn't picture himself coaching when his career is over, and everyone anticipated him taking a leap into broadcasting. But in recent times, over the last few months, he has rethought his position on the matter. And last time I heard him talk about coaching, Draymond said he'd be up to it. So, which begs the question, Billy, you'll be the representative for Dub Nation for this question at the moment. Would Draymond being the head coach be appealing to you?
Hell no! Hell no! Emphatic hell no! What the heck, dude? Draymond is a hothead. What does he like? He might know a little bit about X and O's and stuff like that, but no, that wouldn't. I would rather have somebody like you said, what we talked about, one of these assistants out there, find somebody on somebody's staff and go from there. But Draymond as a coach, if you do that, to be honest, just sell the team, bro. Just blow it up and move the team somewhere else at this point. Make Joe Lacob sell, because that's insane.
Yeah,
that's too much of homerism.
And Jeff Riggenbach also saying, how about Budenholzer? Hell no. I'm saying a hell no to that. And I think he's bringing it up because there was a picture the other day of Mike Dunleavy Jr. having a lengthy conversation with Budenholzer. I can't remember what the setting was, what game they were at, but I didn't like the optics of it. Mike Dunleavy Jr. being chummy with Budenholzer. I don't want Bud. Do not give me Coach Bud.
Real quick, yeah, that Bud would be terrible too. Real quick, but, how did Dunleavy get this job in the first place? I don't understand how a lot of these guys get the jobs. He was a Warrior at one point, right?
Well, he was an awful Warrior. He was a bust. He was a third.
Yeah, he was never a good player in his career. I followed him. He was
a third pick in the draft out of Duke, and in Duke he was okay, but it was a waste of a pick, dude. For number 3 especially, it ended up being just a complete. He was a bust. But at the end of his career, if I remember, I don't know if I have this factually correct, and if anyone wants to add to this, I think. Assistant GM of the Warriors and then GM, and so he had clients. He had players who were his clients, and I think Mike Dunleavy Jr. was one of them. And Bob Myers hired Mike Dunleavy Jr. a few years back as his assistant GM. I don't know who the previous assistant GM was. I forgot who that was. So he hires Mike Dunleavy Jr. and then it just became kind of like a next man up situation.
I didn't know he was an assistant. I thought they just hired him off the couch, because when the hiring happened, I was like, where did this come from? This dude,
it was in house.
What does he know? It just gives me Jerry Jones vibes with Joe Lacob, because everything is just homerism. Just being such a homer. You got to branch out. If you wanna, you gotta go outside your comfort zone or whatever. But hey, next time I come on here, hopefully I get to come on here again, because I've been trying to join for the longest. I just didn't know how to, and I'm gonna make sure I come on here. I will not be driving this time. I just got I just going somewhere, but I'll be at home, and you'll have to.
Good. Where are you driving? Are you in the Bay?
Oh no, I live in Washington, actually.
The state of
I'm just a
Washington,
basketball
or
fan.
the nation's capital?
No, state of Washington.
Whereabouts? Like, what part of it?
Seattle.
Okay. My family for like 20-something years lived in the Fremont district, so I used to go up all the time and visit them there.
Fremont,
Dude.
It's true, but we ain't got no basketball team. That's what sucks. I know they're talking
I
about
know.
bringing one
Are
here.
you old enough to remember when you did have a team?
Bro, I wasn't like I was too young to go to the games, but like I really have like an old head mentality. So like I just like love basketball so much. I just like know all like the history like from back then up until now. So I wish like I could have gone.
My stepdad, rest in peace, was lived in Seattle for a very long time, and he used to take me to Sonics games when I go up there and visit at Key Arena. And I my heart still breaks for them, dude. Now the good news is there hopefully will be an expansion team being announced soon, 2 of them. And the likely destinations for each team will be Vegas for one of the cities and then Seattle for the other. And it remains to me one of the most egregiously wrong things the NBA ever did. It's a blight to me on David Stern's legacy that he allowed an oil baron to buy the Sonics and move them to OKC. Absurd. Yeah. It's utterly absurd, man. And I feel for them. And the good news is until now, I feel like most Seattle basketball fans or Warriors fans at the moment, that's going to go away the moment they get their team back. Is that how they roll? You tell me. You're in Seattle right now.
Repeat that question again.
Are most folks that you know in Seattle, are they Warriors fans? Are they Blazers fans?
It's a combination of both. Okay. I would say like more Blazers than Warriors, but yeah, we definitely have like it's a little bit of everything really. Like my favorite player is Kawhi, so I just like I have to like by default.
I'm glad you brought that up. Before you go, I'm glad you brought Kawhi Leonard up because I was going to actually talk about this in just a moment, but let's do it now. There is, and look, this is a very loose report, and I want to preface what I'm going to say with this: the reality of the situation versus the hopeful optimism of the situation. But what I'm trying to say here is that there's probably a 1% chance this could actually happen, but it's 1%. Take that for what it's worth. And I wish I had the drop right now of Jim Carrey saying, "But you're telling me there's a chance." I will get that. Supposedly, a report came out today, and I should find out what the sources of it. But it was a pretty valid source. It wasn't something that I just threw away as a gossip mongering type piece. Is that the NBA, if it gets to this extreme, might void Kawhi Leonard's contract with the LA Clippers as part of the final judgment from their findings of this Accenture scandal, right? And in case you haven't been following along, supposedly again, this is from Pablo Torre originally exposed this and has turned into a nightmare, a massive headache for the Clippers, that the ownership there was using this tree planting company to circumvent payments to players, in this case Kawhi Leonard, so they could avoid salary cap ramifications. And so there's been an investigation since then. So, and again, this who knows how grounded in reality this story is, but the source was valid. It was a reporter that you could at least trust that the person writing the story has some background in journalism and is someone you could at least trust somewhat. But what they're saying is that is a possibility of this investigation, and that if it did happen, if Kawhi Leonard's contract was void and he suddenly finds himself an unrestricted free agent, the 3 teams that would be interested in him, and this is where it got weird because this is very specific, are the Lakers, the Knicks, and your Golden State Warriors. Now, and again, this is why I say 1%. Do not pin your hopes on Kawhi Leonard coming to the Warriors. But it lets you dream a little bit and lets you fantasize about the idea of this season being salvaged, because I do think you can salvage the season if by some miracle you get Kawhi Leonard on your team for nothing. If that happens, I mean, we're back. And Steph has to come back healthy as well. We don't know what the runner's knee situation is on that, but any thoughts there?
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to say that there is some truth behind what you're saying. I saw the report. Like I said, I keep up with all this stuff. And there is, like you said, I would say definitely a 1% chance because of the whole Pablo situation. But I'm not. Yeah, I've been a Kawhi fan since like 2013, bro. I love the dude, and knowing like what I know about him, I don't think he will go to the Lakers, like because he already had a chance to do that, and he definitely like he's not the type of person to team up with like a bunch of like superstars. But I could see him definitely going to the Warriors for sure because and like I said, as also being a Kawhi fan, I always like it hurts me because he's never had like that coach, like that star next to him. He's always played with just like like good role players and stuff, but he's never actually had like a superstar next to him. So I would love to see him next to Steph. And if Steph's healthy and Kawhi playing the way he's playing, that would be phenomenal. Like of course they could win it all easily. Like that'd be amazing.
100%, dude. I mean that's where all of a sudden the excitement's back. If you can get Kawhi is so good, dude. It's Charles Barkley in a broadcast the other day I thought said it best. There's no other player who can miss like a year and just come back and resume Hall of Fame level basketball. Like there's no one else who's doing that. And but again, the odds of that happening are so minuscule. But yes, for people wondering, like, wait, like is what you're saying that the NBA might void Kawhi Leonard's contract with the Clippers? Yes, that is one thing that the NBA is reportedly looking at. And again, the fact that this report specified 3 teams that he may go to, and one of those teams is the Warriors. Yeah, got a little excited for that, but
there was speculation that he could have got traded to them too. Like, but I don't think that they were willing to give up like before at the deadline because they traded away Zubats and Harden, which I like those trades because Zubats is like last year he had a really good year, but this year like he kind of went down, and I've never been a fan of Harden. I hate his style. He's too ball dominant and he's a playoff choker. And I like Mathurin a lot. He's been really good. I'm just a realist. I'm just keeping it real. But Mathurin's been really good for them.
Kawhi Leonard a playoff choker?
No. Harden. I wouldn't. Kawhi is amazing.
No. F Harden. Forget Harden.
Yeah. So like that's what I'm saying. When they traded those guys, and you see the report or the interview after the game, they asked him, "Do you guys like?" They asked Kawhi, "Do you still think you guys are in contention?" And he just like straight up said no. It was funny. But
Slimming 2 in our chat saying that Kawhi Leonard hates Steve Kerr. So forget it. But I've never heard that. I'm not saying you're wrong, but it doesn't surprise me if that's true.
Yeah. Who would want to play for Kerr after what he did to Jason Tatum, Kuminga, and even like look at Moody too. Moody just now started flourishing when he could have been getting minutes, and it's just sad to see because you could have been using. Yeah, you could have been using.
It is sad. And Jeff Riggenbach in the chat saying that the disdain for Kerr comes from Kawhi Leonard being kicked off the Olympic team. He was originally
no.
And then
it was best for Kawhi because I don't think it was just Kerr. It was it had to do with like Grant Hill and all these guys too because like Kawhi, like it was best for him to rehab and make sure he was healthy for the season because like they didn't really like it would have been nice to have him there, but they didn't really need him.
Yeah. All right, Billy, it was nice chatting with you, man, and drive safe for the rest of your journey.
Oh yeah, I'm already it's funny. I'm already at my destination. Next time I'll check in with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, nice meeting you, brother.
Dude, nice meeting you. Happy Kuminga Day, man. Happy freaking Kuminga Day.
Yeah, crazy. Bye, Billy. That was and Billy's reaction to Nicholas Kerr. Was it Nicholas Kerr where he was like, hell no? That was some comedy. Real quick pushback on this chat comment from Positivity All the Time. And I love someone who writes as their handle Positivity All the Time, and then their chat comment is, "That's some bullshit." The hypocrisy of you folks pretending you're the beacon of light in this dark world is comedy. Positivity All the Time writing Kerr. Oh, you're agreeing. I'm sorry. I thought you were pushing back, saying that Kerr did not cost Kuminga millions. No, you're actually just agreeing. Okay, yeah. Positivity All the Time writing, Kerr did cost that brother millions. That's some bullshit. Okay, we're in agreement. I apologize. I was misreading that initially. J-Rock in our chat saying that a moderate level of runner's knee takes about 2 to 3 months to recover from. Steph's condition seems to be moderate. 2 to 3 months. No bueno. Patrick Stubbs in the chat writing, I just want to know why Moses Moody only had 12 field goal attempts. That is a good question. He technically had 13. Moody scoring 24 points on 13 field goal attempts. He was 7 of 13 from the field, 4 of 10 from deep, which means he was a perfect 3 of 3 from inside the arc. Why did he only have 13 field goal attempts? That's a great question. I don't know. So I feel like that's a question that's better suited for the head coach. Moody in this game, as the game went along, started taking advantage of a very flimsy Pelicans defense who either was cheating back or cheating up. Whatever they were doing, all you had to do was the opposite. So early in the game, they were giving the Warriors a lot of space. I mean, Golden State's missed threes were wide open, and they were clanking left and right. And what Moody was realizing is, oh, wait, so when they cheat up on me, all I have to do is just drive to the basket for the easiest bucket imaginable. And why he did not take more advantage of that, I don't know if it was a lack of opportunities. I don't know. But it's a good point that you bring up. And simultaneously, whereas Moody had 24 points tonight on 13 field goal attempts, you had D'Anthony Melton with 28 points on 21 field goal attempts. So in other words, Melton putting up 8 more field goal attempts, yet scoring just 4 more points. So Moses Moody, very efficient tonight in his 34 minutes of play. Moody's just been having a fantastic year. I love Moody. There are players on this team I love. I love Moses Moody. I love Guy Santos. I do love Draymond Green while simultaneously saying, don't play him when Steve Kerr's playing. I love D'Anthony Melton. I love Will Richard. Something tells me if Malachi Leons ever plays, I might love that kid. He looks like an NBA player. He was doing some damn good things for Santa Cruz, but he never gets to play for the Warriors. Why? Why, Sa? I don't know. Alan Day this man, folks, is suffering. What I mean by that is he's in law school right now.
Yeah.
He is buried in books. He's buried in memorizing cases, terminology.
Yeah.
But when it's all over with, you're going to be a sports agent, hopefully. Knock on some wood right
Hopefully.
here.
I have a torts midterm tomorrow, so
Oof.
I'm fried.
All right. Sorry for keeping you waiting there, brother. How you doing? And what's on your mind, man? Good to hear from you.
Oh, man. A couple of things, man. Well, it's, the Warriors cost Moses Moody a lot of money, too. They were talking about,
Good point.
Moses Moody have one of the worst contracts ever. And like whenever I think about Moses Moody, I feel bad for him because,
Don't
they
feel too
suppressed
bad.
him.
He's getting $14 million a year. He's set for life. But I hear what you're saying.
14 million. It's like 6 in the Bay Area. He's probably living in an apartment. I mean, he
You know what?
probably bought a house in Little Rock, but who knows?
Well, I know he bought a house for his mom, and that story
Okay.
was published, and that's awesome, bro. Those are some of the most heartwarming stories I ever read. When someone who grew up without means, someone who just grew up either in poverty or lower middle class or both, ends up making it as a pro athlete. Suddenly they have millions in their bank account, and one of the first things they do is buy mom a house. That just warms my cuckles, brother. I'm with you. Now, with that said, I feel what you're saying too, because Moses Moody signed that extension that pays him about $14 million a year, but he had to settle for
11. I think it was.
Was it 11?
Yeah, 11 or less, something like that. But it
Well,
was one of those things where like he was screwed because he was in a position like Kuminga where, they were suppressing him. They had the smear campaign going on about Moses Moody. Remember, Moses Moody, we talked about it before. Moses Moody was the first guy, and don't get it twisted. He still wants out. Okay, he more than likely he was hoping that it was him and JK that got up out of there, not him and Buddy Hield.
And real quick, Moody's making $11.5 million this year, $12.5 next year, and then in the third and final year of the extension, which is going to be in 2027-28, he's going to make $13.4 million. So again, by NBA standards, relatively speaking, I get it. He's probably underpaid. But I'm also not going to feel sorry for him. That's a lot of money. He's going to be okay.
Well, it's one of those cases. I feel sorry for him and JK in this situation that, everyone deserved their market rate. And we know what that draft class represented. That draft class was the market rate. And so those guys essentially got pennies on the dollar based on what that draft class was going for. I mean, you look at a guy like Suggs in Orlando, where, he's a nice player, but I think Moses Moody and JK are both better than Suggs. and he's getting probably what $30-something million a year with Orlando. So
Suggs, I actually have it right here.
Jalen Suggs,
because I have all this stuff saved from a old ass show. Jalen Suggs right here. Got a $180 million contract extension that goes through 2030.
Yeah. So it's a bad situation. Just know that first opportunity Moody he's getting the hell up out of there. He's gonna go.
And real quickly here, and side note, KKS, I think you're right, blaming CJ McCollum for arranging that awful CBA, or at least being the one who signed on the dotted line as the president of the Players Association. But someone wrote, I want to address this really quickly because I'd love to get your take on this too, Alan. But I stupidly did not highlight it. Someone in the chat wrote that Moses Moody didn't get the smear campaign.
Yes,
that Kuminga did.
Oh, yes. It wasn't at this level. It wasn't at this level, but he did.
But he did, yeah. And what people forget is that when Kuminga made his first trade request, right? He had two of them. Well, the second one was recent. The first one was back in 2024. And within 24 hours of Kuminga making that request, Moses Moody also made a trade request, but it was drowned out in the Kuminga news story.
Yeah.
And it was leaked to Jason Dumas, who at the time was a Bay Area TV broadcaster, just the wrong guy to leak it to. Whereas Kuminga's getting his leak to Shams, like everyone's paying attention. You got Jason Dumas revealing Moses Moody's trade demand. Like most people still don't even know about it, but it's true. Moses Moody wanted out. He wasn't happy either in this whole situation. And
and you see, and you highlight in the chat, guys, was like, when Moody started getting minutes this season, Moody started getting minutes because he signed an extension. Let's be real. If Moody wouldn't have signed that extension, he would have got benched. It would have been the same situation.
You know what's funny though? He signed the extension, Alan, and Lindy Waters III was still ahead of him.
Yes.
I don't even think the extension is why he played. I think it's just just eventually, I guess, Kerr just deferred. I don't know what took so long, man.
I think it's one of those things where, again, he signed such a low-level bad deal that I feel like their business department just see it as a win. Like, we got this guy. We got him, so he has no choice. So we're gonna run him. We're gonna run him to death if we can on this little deal.
I feel you.
But you know what? You guys were talking coaches. For me, like, you can't go out and get another silver spoon coach like Steve Kerr. You got to really go do your due diligence and get a guy that's been through the circuit, been through the AAU unit, been through college coaching, been through assistant. You know what I mean? Like a Sam Cassell. Go check on Sam Cassell, one of these guys that's been through it.
I wouldn't hate Sam Cassell. I think he'd be a fine head coach. I'm a little surprised, honestly, he hasn't gotten that opportunity yet.
Nepotism, So
maybe.
I mean, I mean, on one hand, it's a surprise, but on the other hand, there's another level to the business, and you see it with guys like JJ Redick and Steve Kerr, how they just get these jobs with no experience at all. Like, no communication ability. It just, I don't know. Like, I to this day, I still have no idea how Steve Kerr got the job. And to this day, I still don't know what Steve Kerr is good at as a head coach.
That part, I agree with you. I also don't know what Steve Kerr is good at exactly, other than the Steph part of it. Clearly, Steph drives.
They used to say it was the ATOs or whatever, but I mean, when you got Steph Curry, man, like, really, what do you? You
know what it was, Alan? In case, I don't know if you remember this, but Steve Kerr was actually a very highly sought after head coach in 2014, largely because of two things. One, his broadcasting career. Mm-hmm. He sounded competent, right? He checked all the boxes for, like, someone who visually and on a superficial level looked and fit the type, right? And the Knicks wanted him. Phil Jackson was had him locked down. I mean, Steve Kerr was set to become the Knicks head coach, and then the Mark Jackson decision was somewhat late in that cycle, and so the Warriors suddenly found themselves in a position where they needed a head coach. And who knows? Maybe Steve Kerr is why the Warriors went ahead and nudged Mark Jackson out. Although I don't remember it being like that, but who knows?
No,
But yeah, so it
I
was
don't
just
know. I don't know, but it was the same. It was the same JJ Redick blueprint. JJ Redick, he ran the same blueprint and got the job the
agreed.
same exact way.
Agreed.
You know,
I do.
him and
Yeah.
LeBron had this awesome podcast, and
Good comp.
it
Comp.
just
Yeah.
it just made sense. It made
And
sense at
Steve
the
Kerr was
time.
doing media shit. Like I honestly forgot all about this, and it's still just sitting on my screen here. It's been here for like 2 weeks, but some years back, Steve Kerr wrote this article for ESPN, and ESPN used to have a website called Grantland. It was like a subsidiary, and this was Bill Simmons. I don't know if it was just NBA based or if it covered all the sports, but this was his little like website within ESPN. And there's Steve Kerr right there. Like has an art.
Wow.
I read some of this, and the headline of the story is the case for the 20-year-old age limit in the NBA, which zero surprise, right? Coming from Steve Kerr, zero surprise, considering the vast majority of his gripes with Kuminga came down to him being so raw coming out of a high school in the 1 year with G League Ignite. So I don't think this is, out of the blue that Kerr wrote this story, but I read some of it and it's on my to-do list to actually go through this whole thing. It's a long article. It explains why Bill Simmons routinely hesitates to criticize Kerr. They're buddies. Steve Kerr's buddies with everybody. That's the huge part of the issue here.
A lot of the main media guys he's connected to, the 10.
Yes. And so he's befriended all these people who just cannot separate journalism from friendship. It's become a very muddled gray area for all these people. And so instead of, accurate analysis, they hesitate to point at the clear problem, which is the head coach. And anyways.
Well, it makes sense. And, I'm not going to ride we don't have to do the I told you so for the Jonathan Kuminga situation.
I can't.
I mean, I'm not going to do it. I just think, like, when you see these people that talking crazy about, like, one of the scariest things is people talk about it was because this system, he didn't fit the system. That's so nasty, bro. Like,
it is.
Like if you're a so-called great coach, you're able to, merge your system, or you're able to the players make the system.
Alan, in my opinion, a great coach adapts the system depending on the talent.
Absolutely.
And doesn't have this rigorous like end all be all. And I'm with you on that.
There's no one way to win basketball games. I think like Warriors fans, we got to get out of our ego, man. There's not one way. And like if we watch the Warriors over the last maybe 3 or 4 years, it's a bad brand of basketball.
It was. And Alan, for people that don't know, you formerly played a D1 basketball.
I did.
So you know a thing or two about this game. And I'm curious to know if you could answer this question from G4M in our chat, who writes, "What system? LOL." And again, the way I try to explain it is Steve Kerr's offense is very much like the triangle, and it's a huge reason why you oftentimes on the weak side of the court you see people just standing around, because his system usually will involve 3 people at a time. That's the triangle, right? And it's all about movement off the ball, and it's also all about the decoy, and that's the dude that sits in the corner. And so you have a lot of people that call Steve Kerr's system just Popovich's system, and it kind of is because of all the motion. But I see the triangle far more than anything else. Like those split screens, that's just a variation of the triangle, and so that's what I see when it comes to system. I also remember clearly Phil Jackson saying the system is not winning championships. Michael Jordan is, or he replaced that with Shaquille O'Neal some years later. What is your take on Steve Kerr's system?
I think it's obviously the system itself is centered around a read and react, space and pace a system. It's, originally it was led in transition, if you remember correctly. It wasn't much half court within this system. It was more of a transition game because, and minus the pin downs and split screen and the split actions that Clay and Steph used to run together, in the high pick and roll with Draymond and Steph. The 2-man game between Draymond and Steph used to be like the most dominant 2-man game in the sport. But really, like I said, when they were younger, I felt like it was a lot of transition and a lot of flow within their offense. Essentially, it was, and I don't like to use the Steve Kerr system. It was more of the Alvin Gentry system. Like Alvin Gentry was running that offense for years before and after the Warriors.
You're not the first person who said that, by the way.
I've heard like that pace. That's what Alvin Gentry was always known for: pushing the flow, pushing the ball, getting out in transition. But because you had Steph and Clay, you were able to introduce the transition threes, which really opened the floor to a whole nother level. So
agreed.
I mean,
and by the way, Alan, again, you play, basketball, dude. You played at the D1 level. How long ago? What years were you playing? Do you remember?
I'm 39.
It's like 20 years ago. Okay, not that long. Not that long. Don't think you're old, by the way, dude. You're doing fine.
I'm not saying I'm old, but like I'm old.
It's not like the world's changed. Like you know your shit when it comes to hoops. And I bring that up because Jerry Lane in our chat, and this is a typical like take from the Steve Kerr apologists, right?
Yeah.
Like to them, they get the impression that if Kuminga was going to stay, he would have had that he had to be the primary option, or that what Kuminga was asking for was to be the go-to guy, when that's the furthest thing from the truth. And Jerry Lane in our chat writes, Stephen Curry scoring 27 points per game, and you want Kuminga as a primary option. I don't know anybody who is framing it like that. I don't know anybody who is saying Kuminga should be the top dog. The only thing we were saying on this show was just give him the minutes. Just enough with the bench bullshit.
It's a little bit more than that. For me, I think that when you have a talent like Jonathan Kuminga, at minimum, you maximize the gifts that he does have. You don't put a guy like that. You don't take a guy like that and lie to the fan base and call him a 4, but sit him out on the corners. Sit him on the corners. And say that, hey, I want you to run, and I want you to screen, I want you to slash, but really you just want them to sit in the corner and wait for the last second 3-pointers. Okay.
By the way, did you see Will Richard doing that tonight? Kerr had him just parked in the corner, man. It was just possession after possession. Will Richard played 17 minutes in this game tonight and had 0 points. But a huge reason why he had 0 points is because literally every offensive possession, he was just in the corner. It was exactly what Kerr used to ask Kuminga to do. Of all the players on your team to use as a decoy, why are you using your most athletic, physically gifted individuals to rot away on offensive possessions? Makes no damn sense. And tonight, whereas previously they used to be JK just sitting in that corner, and that's where all this shit started, is eventually JK was like, I could be a much better service not sitting in this corner. And that's what drove Kerr insane. And now Will Richard was being asked to do the exact same thing tonight. It's utterly absurd how Kerr looks at the talent. Like Will Richard should not be just sitting in a corner, but that's what he was doing tonight.
I don't understand this guy. Like,
I don't either.
Some of the most obvious basic things about basketball, like when it's introduced, he's like, I never even thought about that. Like, bro, what do you mean? You never thought about J.K., Al Horford, and Moody playing together?
Alan, how do you want to address this nonsense? Jerry Lane is doubling down, saying J.K. has showed he has low basketball IQ. And again, more just subjective nonsense that you can't measure. Not to mention now you're attacking his intellect. Strongly agree to disagree, Jerry, that Kuminga had a quote-unquote low basketball IQ. And you're basing that entirely on what Steve Kerr thought. And what I keep pushing back on is stop pretending what Steve Kerr believes is reality. Meaning just because Steve Kerr didn't like Kuminga doesn't mean he's a bad player. Just because Steve Kerr didn't like what Kuminga was doing doesn't mean he has a low basketball IQ. Those are a lot of really insane assumptions you're making about this kid based solely off the bias you have in your own brain from Steve Kerr's decisions. Meaning, if Steve Kerr benches a player, you immediately have half the fan base going, oh, if Kerr benched him, there must be something wrong with him. Not independently thinking, why did he bench him? And not deferring to the Kerr's always right philosophy. That's what we keep pushing back on here, man. Stop assuming just because Kerr thought that way, that it's the right way. Bullshit. Sorry, go ahead.
One thing to consider too, when people say this basketball IQ thing, really it comes down to a feel, like the feel of the game, like in having touch. And the only way that you're able to have a feel for the game is that you have to be in the game. You know, you have to you need those minutes so you can you can catch a rhythm, and you know, athletes are creatures of habit. So when you're tricking off minutes, you know, one night you bring in a guy in first quarter 4-minute mark, the next, you know what I mean, the next day it's the 7-minute mark. Guys just can't get a feel for the game. They're thinking too much. They're under pressure. Like JK, like I mentioned this, like JK, he in his first game with the Atlanta Hawks tonight, his first stint was like a 9-minute stretch. We can't in the first maybe 5 to 6 minutes, he didn't even really take a shot.
Correct.
He was just feeling the game, just going through the motions, you know, getting himself in the rhythm. And next thing you know it, he was in the flow.
And by the way, so the same individual, Jerry, and I'm not trying to pick on you. In future shows, Jerry, I'd love to have you on and have some healthy discourse about why you feel the way you do. Jerry is following up by saying he's not even a Kerr fan. So if you're not a Steve Kerr fan, why are you assuming, considering there's no way you can actually know for a fact what his hoops IQ is, why are you assuming the hoops IQ is low?
Because
if
he
it's
heard
not
someone
because you agree with Steve Kerr, like, what are you basing that on? Then I don't get people, man.
Well,
I do not get a lot of people.
No,
Go ahead,
he
sir.
heard these idiots in the media, these guys, these Bontemps and these Slaters and those 95, those game guys who've never touched, who can't touch the bottom of the net, try to talk about basketball, man. And, I mean, the bottom line is this: like the IQ, you can't talk low IQ to NBA guys, man. That's one thing you got
to mention. Jerry is saying that he comes to this conclusion from watching the games. So then I push back and say, okay, so you're watching the games and you come to this conclusion. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. Literally every player, current or former, with NBA experience, thinks Kuminga does not have a low IQ. They actually think very highly of him. The only person who has not thought highly of him is Steve Kerr. That's it. And random fans like you. So I guess I like, what are you watching that gives you this conclusion? I don't get it. Like, why not trust the opinion of those who know better than anyone else? The folks who actually played the game at the highest level. Bro, they are all universally in agreement that this kid is special. The only person who wasn't was Steve Kerr. And now we're seeing what the foolishness of that has brought the Warriors to. They lost a prized asset for nothing. They got a 7-foot stiff with POTS. Their team is old and not getting younger. Their role players are not good enough to really do anything. I don't get it. I still don't get it. I'm just
you know how hard it is for JK to perform the way he did tonight? You know how hard that is?
Alan, I said that at the beginning. I said that at the beginning of the show. He had a lot of pressure on his shoulders. JK knew full well everyone was watching. And you know what? This wasn't the first time he had a lot of pressure on him. He was getting DNP'd and suddenly was thrust into the postseason. And it took him all of 1 or 2 games before he started dropping 25 a night on Minnesota. He got DNP'd this last season for over a month, suddenly thrust in, and in 2 games scored 30 points in 29 minutes. So this wasn't the first time he faced pressure. Side note, he was also starting postseason games as a rookie in a march to a championship. So he's seen the spotlight and felt it. You're absolutely right. He was under a lot of pressure again tonight because everybody who follows the NBA wanted to know what the hell was going to happen there. And boy, did he deliver, man. 27 points in 24 minutes. And maybe most impressively, the efficiency. 9 of 12 from the field, 3 of 4 from deep, 6 of 7 from the free throw line, adding 7 boards, 4 assists. It was borderline perfect in terms of what he delivered, man. It was impressive.
And we need to stop this talk about he's not even a star, but like to not be a star and get all of this attention, you got to remember, I don't even remember who were free agents this offseason. JK was the talk of the offseason. You can't be like you have to
this
be
was
a star.
year. Yeah.
You have to
The
be a
last year.
star to get the attention that JK gets. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why
Yeah.
he gets this attention, this should also you should also consider the fact that he gets this attention while not getting the opportunity. Because people that knows the game knows he know how to play the game. Okay? And listen, Steve Kerr probably never in his career had a game like JK had tonight. That's
Hell
how
no.
hard it is.
No.
That's how
Not even
hard it
close.
is. Okay.
Not even close.
It's and he's gonna have a good time. I'll tell you, I was recruited by Quinn Snyder when he was when he was in Columbia. Okay. I was in high school at the time. He was in Columbia, and I ended up going up to Columbia and I did a walkthrough on campus.
Where was he coaching back then?
He was coaching at Mizzou.
That's right. And that was a good team.
Yeah. So he had
like Brandin Rush was on the team, right? Or
he had Brandin Rush. He had this kid named Jimmy McKinney. And Jimmy McKinney was my referral. That's who I knew, and that's how I was able to get a visit. It was who else he had out there?
And by the way, Jerry Lane, who 1 minute says I'm not even a Kerr fan, and then the next minute reveals his true colors. Jerry, of course you're a Steve Kerr fan. There's no one on this green earth who's going to hate on Kuminga without being a Steve Kerr apologist. Writing, let's switch. And this is again, Jerry. You're acting like this show has not been covering this story for nearly 4 years now. Saying let's switch out JK with prime Kobe. You really think Kerr would have benched Kobe? Yes. That's the whole reason why I have lost all faith in Steve Kerr. And it's been 3 years of this shit that's driving me insane. Adding JK as some secret held back superstar here. How do you know that? And again, I keep begging the question, Jerry, and I'm looking forward to you hopefully coming on the show someday, because I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you, why do you make so many goddamn assumptions? Assumptions are the easiest, weakest, logical fallacy you can commit as a human being. Meaning, you're just guessing that something is true without having any basis of reality for it. Steve Kerr thought Anthony Edwards not only didn't have the work ethic for the team to draft him, but when in the 2023 FIBA Cup, the summer before the Olympics, Anthony Edwards was on his team, came off the damn bench, and Kerr was starting Austin Reeves. Anthony Edwards had to get in Kerr's face and tell him after the first game, what the hell are you doing not starting me? And Kerr then reversed the decision and started him the rest of that tournament, a tournament where they did not even medal. Embarrassingly, they lost in the bronze medal game with Josh Hart, who at 6'4" sometimes plays guard for the Knicks, being the team center that game. Embarrassing. But my point is, yes, that's how bad Kerr is at player evaluation. At the peak of the Warriors dynasty, he did not have to make difficult decisions when it came to personnel. He was gifted one of the deepest, most talented rosters in NBA history. And now the last 3-4 years, when the front office thought he was confident enough to handle developing young players because they had 3 lottery picks in 2 years, you saw that he is not equipped to handle that. And there is a track record of him failing at evaluating talent. He used to be the GM of the Phoenix Suns. That did not work out for similar reasons. Steve Kerr, whether it's a blind spot, whether it's because he's obtuse, he is not good at picking out talent. It's a flaw. It's a huge effing weakness of his. And again, and if you disagree with that, then don't sit here and tell me you're not a fan of his. Don't blow smoke up my ass, dude. All right? Don't gaslight, please. Because that's all you're doing, man. And again, Jerry, or whatever your name is, I forgot already. Come on the show next time, dude. Let's have a discussion about this. So either we can agree to disagree ultimately, but I want to hear you actually. I want to hear your rhetoric. I want to hear what logic you're presenting for why you assume that Kuminga has a low IQ, or why you assume that Steve Kerr would automatically play someone if they actually had talent. Those are assumptions. Base your thinking on reality, which is based on actions. Steve Kerr's actions do not substantiate your opinion that if JK was like Kobe, he'd automatically get played. You don't know that. And my whole point is I don't have faith in Kerr to play someone with talent like that. I don't. That's why I want him gone, man. I want a new head coach who's competent. This is not competency that we're seeing right now. It's complete opposite of that. What's the opposite of competency? Is it ineptness? I don't know. It's stupidity. I don't know. Whatever it is. Failure. This is bad. Alan, I apologize. I'm talking.
No. It's all good. I mean, we're seeing who Steve Kerr is, man. For the last 5 years, he's been a 500 coach. When it's not a perfectly crafted roster, he's not going to have success. You know, we're not talking about Rick Carlisle right now. We're not talking about these real grinders, these guys who know how to coach, like
and who have the work
Kerr,
ethic of a real.
My gosh, man,
Kerr's lazy as F, dude.
Yeah. Who would admit that they do not know how to develop talent?
And who would admit in a season that is not living up to expectations that your priorities in life are fantasy basketball and watching White Lotus?
Come on, man.
How would you admit that? Like he on top of the fact that he's lazy, he's so out of touch, man. Like he's so out of touch. His perspective is strictly from a high mountaintop of privilege, dude. He does not know what it's like to grind. He does not know what it's like to have nothing. He doesn't know what it's like to be in a situation where you're being passed over or you have management who's screwing you over. Like he lacks a very massive perspective, and that's of someone who has not had everything handed to him in life. And it sucks, dude. I want someone new so bad. I want the Steve Kerr era to end in the worst way imaginable, man. This thing sucks.
And like, how can you be a coach and you in your era of coaching, you had Kevin Durant and you allowed him to walk? How do you let that happen? And in the same era, you allow your young pup who got you to the finals to get knocked out. How do you allow your franchise staple Klay Thompson to leave disgruntled? You know, in a guy that apparently you had a good relationship in Kevon Looney, he walks disgruntled. Okay, it was all a lie, man. And I mean, I've been sitting back watching this over the years, man. It's been a locker room mess for years.
And Alan, can you name one player, just one, who has left the Warriors and said fond things about Kerr on the way out?
None.
I can't think of one.
We don't even hear from David West. Andre Iguodala doesn't come around anymore. They used to say Livingston was an executive. He may have been
works for the team. Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about employees, like because. And side note, I don't hear them saying things either.
No,
but never
hear from S. You never hear from S. I saw him on a podcast with Andre maybe a couple years ago, but
I mean, because like Kevon Looney left disgruntled. I felt like Kevon Looney was one of the guys who I expected would maybe show some loyalty toward Kerr.
Right.
Nope, he left and was pissed.
Exactly.
Hated the way he was treated at the end there. Side note, was he injured tonight? Why do we not see a Kevon Looney sighting? Just DNP'd. Okay.
Yeah, it's like all of these guys, Kelly Oubre and just so many guys.
Yeah, but none of them have said nice things. And Klay Thompson, you think is one of the safest bets. Remember Klay, like a year before he said F this, I'm out, was like, I can't see myself ever playing for a coach besides Kerr. And then Steve Kerr had the audacity of benching him, which made sense until you found out who he was being benched for. Brandin Podziemski.
Well, imagine, oh my gosh, Boogie Cousins. Someone mentioned in the chat. Oh, Boogie and Swaggy C or P, whatever. Like these guys trash Kerr on a regular.
Again, there's nobody. There is not a single player who leaves saying nice things about him. Like that's. I mean, it's like the math does not add up for this guy, except for the fact that he has the right person. That's Joe Lacob, who's still fond of him. And all we can hope for, I think, is he's gone after this year. But I'm not even. I don't even feel good about that. Like if we found out Kerr's back another year because Steph doesn't want another coach, and Joe's like, okay, I mean, would that really surprise anyone? It would drive me insane, but
I don't know, man.
Surprise me.
I don't know that it seems so weird. The organization seems so weird because, the Klay Thompson situation always get me because, he told Steph not to say anything, and Steph was like, "Okay, I'm not." like you know what I mean? Like it's an interesting situation, but I'll tell you this, there's not going to be any free agents that come here knowing what's going on in that organization.
I mean, they'll come because they want to get paid and they want work.
Well, it'll be guys that's guys last choice. They're almost out of the league. Yeah. They're on their last leg. Al Horford, Al Horford was gone because no one else was going to give him a contract. Yeah. So not only that, a player option also. Whew. It's like, bro,
I can't think of anybody. Like G4M in our chat brings up Otto Porter Jr., but I don't remember him saying anything about Kerr when he left. He just you got one more big.
I haven't even heard from Otto Porter.
Said peace. What's up?
I haven't heard anything. He's a Midwest guy too, so not really sure.
Yeah, nobody says anything. It's just everyone just leaves either disgruntled or they're silent. It's not a good look.
What about both?
And I honestly believe that Lacob is very out of touch. That would be my guess. Meaning, Joe Lacob is probably just any noise that's heading towards him, and the noise being, "Hey man, the problem's Kerr." He just blocks it out, dude. He just doesn't want to hear it. And
the proof is in a KD situation. If you were sitting back as a fan, if you were wondering if this organization was out of touch, they literally had a trade done. Suns was hunting for JK. The Suns wanted JK bad. They literally accepted a trade for JK and KD said, "No, I'm not going back there."
Yeah.
How do you do all of that work? Because we know that, the business of basketball happens in the black market, There's deals getting done before they're supposed to get done.
Yes, sir.
And they had this entire elaborate deal confirmed for Kevin Durant. And he was like, hell no. Like
hell no.
What are we what is going on, man? It's but yeah, they need a refresher, man. There is a cancer in the locker room. And sorry to say it wasn't JK. It wasn't JK. It's a real serious cancer. It's a virus, and you need to really save that organization somehow, some way. You need a refresher, man, and whatever you got to do to get it done. Like Steve Kerr is not.
I'm telling you, behind the scenes, like every time I've gone there this last year, I've never felt it. It's more depressing now than it was in the 2000s. To give you some perspective, like when I was around the Warriors in the 2000s, back when they were playing at Oracle, and they were a bad team, but there wasn't this dreaded pall kind of hanging over everything, where there was almost there's a stink, man, and all the media folks, and it's so sad that they're too afraid to speak up, but they're all behind the scenes, off the record, they all say the same thing: this is depressing, this isn't fun. It's universal. There isn't one of them, but they're also deathly afraid of getting blowback because they know how many people in the public still are fooled by this guy, and so and they don't want to lose their jobs, and so here we are.
Well, you need these press guys. Didn't you mention when you did you were there not long ago, and the higher ranking press, they were able to sit in the front row.
Well, that's every game. Yeah, that's every. That's been they're the tier ones, the Slaters, the Sam Gore, all the beat writers and the Monty Pools and those folks. They're all in the first two rows.
Okay.
And then everyone else gets the rows behind them. And then at that point it's the first two rows get the priority for questions. So the only time someone like me, for example, could get a question into Steve Kerr would be in the pregame press conference. because there's more time and sometimes they actually go beyond the first 2 rows. But post game, you're not getting a question in if you're not tier 1. It sucks.
And you have to understand that's negotiation leverage. That's leverage by the press, and you want that because how else will Anthony Slater get a big boy job? Yep. So he needs that front row seat so he can get promoted to ESPN. Otherwise, you're going to be working for the San Francisco Chronicle or whatever it is.
I don't know. I'm honestly amazed. Any media organization is still alive. It's. I mean, look, the Chronicle is owned by the Hearst Corporation. They have old money, billions of generational wealth. So they're going to be fine no matter what. But all these other companies, like the SF Standard, that's who's paying Tim Kawakami a healthy salary. They're owned and operated by some billionaire who, as long as he doesn't care about losing money, is going to stay in operation. But the moment he pivots and goes the Jeff Bezos route, SF Standard is going to be cut just like the Washington Post. Wouldn't surprise me if the San Francisco Chronicle cut the Sporting Green. Yeah. I mean, because ask yourself this question: what is the San Francisco Chronicle providing to the public when it comes to Warriors coverage? All they do is just lob softball questions. All the stories they write are just really shallow, on the cover type pieces, like a great fourth quarter from Brandin Podziemski, or tonight you might see a piece. D'Anthony Melton in 28 minutes did amazing. There's nothing inquisitive. There's nothing with analysis in terms of what's going on with this team. It's very weak. And the Washington Post cut out their sports department entirely, which is crazy shit. Don't be surprised if you start seeing other newspapers doing that too. It's anyways, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna take off, but I'll propose a question because I'm probably naive, so I don't really believe fans truly believe it was an IQ issue. It was a system issue. Hey, Jay can't play the game. He's not a good player. I don't think that was the problem. I think it was something deeper than that. Okay. I think it was something else going on why there is a minority of fans out there that has this disdain for Jonathan Kuminga, and they elevate Steve Kerr to this pedestal. And they like to do that. They showcase the 9 rings, but in reality, you can't. I've watched Steve Kerr for a very long time. No one can really pick out something significant in any of those 9 rings that Steve. I'm
telling you, Alan, it's because none of these guys have a basketball background.
They can't.
Name the media guy, and I guarantee you they did not play hoops growing up. Yeah, whether it's the KNBR guy who's just a Steve Kerr sycophant, 95.7 the game. I honestly, I don't know if I can name one host outside of maybe who's the guy that hosts with Guru? Steinmetz? Matt Steinmetz? Is that his name? I think he might have played a little bit, maybe. But I can't think of anyone else on that station who has any hoops background. You look at The Athletic, right? Yeah. Whether it's Nick Friedel or Anthony Slater, I mean, are they athletes? I don't think it wouldn't surprise me if we found out Nick Friedel never played hoops. I don't know what Anthony Slater's background is. I don't know what Monty Poole's background is, honestly. Dalton Johnson of NBC Sports Bay Area, he was a baseball guy. Now, granted, Dalton's one of the only guys who actually I have no opinion on when it comes to his coverage because he doesn't really, he's pretty just down the middle. But you look at 98% of these media folks, and they have no basketball background. They never played. And suddenly they're experts on the game. It's what are we doing here, man? So what I'm trying to say, that Light Years show, that those two clowns, they don't have basketball experience, but when the dynasty started, they were like everyone else, getting all excited about Steph and how exciting the product was, and so they just sit there and act like fans talking about the game, and it's the team's amazing, so you go along for the ride. But when things aren't going amazing, and when Steve Kerr's every decision does not work out, and you have to actually apply your own analysis, these folks are getting exposed. I
want to highlight something. So a guy in the chat, Jeffrey, mentioned Kerr didn't want JK to outshine Steph ever. And that's something to consider because
it is, yeah.
Before JK left, if I recall, maybe I'm paraphrasing, like Kerr says something in the media that everyone can get their, maybe he was talking about minutes, but they can do a certain thing. Like he was talking about the superstars. It was something in the article where he preferenced if you're a star, you can do this versus, but if you're not a star, you can't do this or whatever. And so,
what
at the same time,
what a dumb thing to say, by the way.
Yeah. But at the same time,
and by the way, Bonte Hill's another one. He's a baseball guy.
Yeah.
Like Bonte got into this because he was a Giants fan, and he started out. He got some internship with Marty Lurie, that old ass dude. I don't know if he's still, with that like super dull boy. Like I don't, dude. The media game is so it's just so dead at this point. I feel like the only reason why they even exist is because radio is free. So if you get in your car, like some folks still listen because it's like, oh, there's a radio right there. It's free. And it's easier to turn that on than to go on my phone and launch a podcast. I feel like that's the only reason these things still exist, but they're not relevant. And most of these people, again, who talk Warriors, they're not hoops guys. So they're not experts at all. They're not even remotely close to being an expert because they don't know the sport they're covering, but they have the platform. It's insane. This industry's F, dude.
Well, you can't discredit those powerful ads, especially if you have one from InBev. And shout out to your advertisers, their FanDuel. Who else? FanDuel, and what's on the right? What's on the other side?
Well, Believe is the network we're part of. And
okay.
It's not a sponsor, but Believe also runs commercials. If you listen to the podcast, we also make a little ad money from the partnership they have with this company called Cumulus. So you might hear commercials on our podcast, and that's through Believe that we're a part of. So our revenue stream right now is FanDuel. Thank you, FanDuel, for keeping the lights on. Google, because YouTube ads gives us some revenue, and then when the economy's better, we usually have some local sponsors. But the economy's in the absolute shitter right now. That's who's keeping us afloat, man. What was your point though in terms of advertisers? Why'd you bring that up?
I mean that's how guys exist. Like the two knuckleheads you mentioned. They landed some sort of
the two knuckleheads. This isn't even their day job. They're both tech bros.
Oh, okay.
So they're not I don't think most of these folks are actually made. And then you look at the radio guys and they're getting a paycheck. How those radio stations are surviving, that is a massively perplexing question.
Listen, I'm not hating, but let me speak to their advertisers. These guys are doing awful work. You need to reallocate those funds to Golden Days. You know what I'm saying? And make this an 8-hour show. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I do, but I was laughing at Kev who writes, I can't stand Cars for Kids. It's like, is that the one that goes 1877 Cars for Kids? Isn't that like a nonprofit?
I don't know, but they're spending money. They gotta be spending money.
I think they're a nonprofit, but I don't. To give you some perspective, this is some inside information that I don't give two shits about leaking. Like the KNBR has been the flagship radio station of the San Francisco Giants for like ages, right? Like decades. And the reason why they're able to broadcast Giants games is because every year they have to pony up an ante to be the rights holders for the Giants, right? And that fee used to be like really expensive, like 20-30 million a year. This was back when baseball was king and everyone was listening to the radio. This last year, I think the Giants were asking for $8 million for the 2026 season, and KNBR didn't have the money, and they're like, we don't have $8 million. I don't know how that got resolved, but I'm guessing this is the last year the Giants are with KNBR because the radio station has no money anymore. They can't afford $8 million payments to teams to carry their games. I don't even know how that got resolved. Truth be told, my guess is the Giants probably looked at the landscape and they were like, well, where else are we going to go? We can't go to 95.7 the game because they already have the Warriors. And so we'd have to get bumped around. And so probably my guess is most of these teams, maybe all these teams eventually will just have their own in-house media operations. Cause you could just sooner than later, you're going to see all these broadcasts entirely online, right? Whether it's a TV and or radio. But for now, the Giants are still, they still want their games on the radio.
Wow.
And they were waiting for that $8 million, and the station was like, we don't have it. Sorry. It's crazy. I don't know how that's going to resolve itself, but the media is in a very bad state right now. They're in a terrible state, which again goes back to which is weird because on one hand they play it safe because they don't want to scare away advertisers, but playing it safe is not going to make your industry grow. All you're doing is just slowly bleeding to death. And it's just, dude, it's crazy, man. There's incompetency everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, playing it safe, like if you're an advertiser out there, why would you want something that's so safe where your product can't really get out there as much? Like if you're asking, if the same basic questions are being asked all the time, your product's not going to get expanded. So why not invest in someone? I'm not to say it's a personality that's going to be dangerous to your business, but at least someone that's going to expand your business a bit. They're going to ask those tough questions. They're going to get they're going to get the sound bite out there, but with integrity, not like not like with Anthony Slater that's launching the food piece with Jonathan Kuminga. We're not talking about bad journalism. We're talking about hard ethical journalism that's going to expand the reach the right way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yep, I do. By the way, Jeff Riggenbach bringing up another former Warrior, Buddy Hield, saying that Buddy was Kuminga's biggest fan tonight. Buddy was a DNP.
Oh my God! But he had so much joy and excitement, and man, it just seems like anytime JK did something, he found Buddy or Buddy.
Oh,
found
good. Okay, that's a
so they were definitely they're probably roommates out there right now. Who knows?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. All right, Alan. I want to start wrapping it up. We got Bloomer Vibe and Chardal closing the show. Law school's kicking your ass. You're keeping your head above water.
Yeah. So tonight's gonna be an all-nighter. I have midterms. I have torts today. Tomorrow, and then I have my contracts tomorrow. Thursday. So we'll do it. Couple all-nighters, and and Friday I'll celebrate. So
you're paying dues, brother. You're almost there.
Yes, sir.
All right, Alan, always a pleasure. Have a great night. Good to hear from you, man.
Always, man. Appreciate it.
You too. Thanks, brother. Thank you. Alan Day joining us. Bloomer, I'm going to get to you 1 second. I want to play this clip real fast. This is Steve Kerr after tonight's game. This is courtesy of Sam Gordon of the San Francisco Chronicle. And a friendly reminder, for what it's worth. And someone actually took a picture of the media room tonight. But in New Orleans, where this clip is from, immediately following the game. Whoops, I screwed that up. This room is empty. Like there are, I'm gonna guess 3, maybe 4 people in it total. Even though the way this is presented doesn't reflect that image. Sam Gordon, who's recording this, Anthony Slater is there. You might have a New Orleans media presence or two because sometimes the locals go check out what the visiting team's doing. Ryan Leong, who joins us sometimes, like that's his job. He always goes into the visiting locker room after a game to get to do interviews and collect some sound bites. But that's what this room is like. And I think there's one more person in here, Joseph Dykes of the Bay Area News Group. He writes for the Merc News. That's the whole room. That's who Steve Kerr's talking to. It's like 3 or 4 people. Sometimes it's even more sparse than that. But I actually saw a picture tonight that showed there were 3 people in this room. And Raymond Ritter is just off to the side. You probably won't see him on camera. Anyways, this was immediately following the game tonight. I'm just curious to hear what Steve Kerr, what rubbish he's espousing following a very disappointing loss by the Golden State Warriors. Final score, 113-109. The Warriors drop into 30-28. We'll get to the standings and the scoreboard check in just a moment. But here is Steve Kerr. Turn the volume up on your devices, please, if you want to hear this properly, because these sound bites are coming from a cell phone. And here is Kerr after the loss.
What do you feel like was the difference down the stretch tonight?
Well, I don't know that down the stretch is what got us. It was just the full 48 minutes. had 21 turnovers. We did not execute very well offensively. Spacing was bad. Transition, we had probably 3 potential layups in the first half. And we didn't run, we didn't cut to the rim, we didn't get to the corners. So we just looked a little disjointed. I thought their pressure early took us out of some stuff. But the game was right there for us. We just couldn't execute well enough. And we, with the injuries we have to play well to win. We have to play well, and I don't think we played well.
11 of 45 from 3. I know you mentioned just the rhythm wasn't necessarily there. Did you like the looks that you guys got?
Not really.
Yeah.
No, it just never felt like there was a flow to the game. Even sometimes when you get an open 3 and yes, it's a good shot, but if there's no rhythm and flow to the game, then you're not going to shoot it as well.
What could the team have done to find a rhythm or to create a better rhythm?
Well, we showed pockets of it in the second half. Our off-ball stuff was pretty good. We got some layups. But some of the decision-making really hurt us. Too many turnovers and just never quite found the rhythm that we needed.
And we stopped there. So Steve Kerr blaming rhythm, flow, just typical subjective verbiage, just a lot of fluff, zero specificity. Side note, I'm glad that he acknowledged that a lot of those misses tonight were wide open. But again, Steve Kerr saying that that the Warriors just didn't have rhythm. I don't know, man. This dude always comes up with the weirdest excuses when they lose. Same types of excuses he used to bench whoever he feels like benching. It's almost always like it just didn't fit. It didn't feel right. It's just the master of just bullshitting a room. And again, this is where I feel like the media fails colossally, because if you had competency in that room, you'd have follow-up questions. You'd have difficult questions. Like, I sure as shit would have been in that room saying, hey, Steve, so Kuminga did this tonight. Your thoughts? But these guys, like, they don't want any negative attention brought on them, right? And if you ask Steve Kerr a hard question, you might have some fans going, how dare you? And that's how weak they are. They'd rather just play it safe so they can go home and sleep at night knowing no one hates them. No one is upset with them. This is the feckless world we live in now. If you want to collect a paycheck, it isn't about meritocracy. It's about making people just feel better, regardless of whether or not the product has quality behind it, regardless of whether or not the questions are important, regardless of whether or not you're getting the answers, which is, last I checked, what the goal was, being a media professional. But that's where we're at. And so instead of good questions, we get the Olay bullshit. Don't give me this Olay bullshit. Let's bring Bloomer. No, there's no photo tonight. Usually when the Warriors lose,
sorry, can you hear me?
On the show, and there's like an avatar, like a profile pic that's purple. That's a darker theme, and when they win, it's a lighter theme. It's like pink and red and brighter colors. So tonight it's just nothing. How you doing?
Can you hear me, Cy?
Loud and clear, yeah.
Yeah, I thought this game was very strange, and I'm just and you're probably wondering why I have the bloomer icon going on, huh?
Oh, well, I'm asking why you have no icon.
But yeah, it's because I'm. Besides the game, I was really also paying attention to JK's game with the Hawks, and yeah, pretty much everyone in the previous call before me was just I couldn't really agree more with them about JK, because he had more of a great debut than the Warriors had against this Pelicans team. Like, it's what we really need to stop and see the writing on the wall when I say I'm with them too. Like, this is crazy, man.
It is crazy. It is crazy. I feel like all we can hope for is just a change this offseason. Because obviously nothing's going to happen now. Or I mean, I feel like the only other hope for spirits being lifted and us being optimistic. When I say us, I mean Warriors fans who want success for the team, is Steph coming back. But I don't even know when that's going to happen. I think the reevaluation for Steph, was it supposed to be today or is it next Tuesday? Shit, I can't remember. Anyways, go ahead, brother. Keep going. Keep going. If you have anything else to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, sorry. Can you still? Hello?
You're there. You're there.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry. I was just trying to make. Sorry. Connection issues. My bad.
You're good. Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I really think that you know, the game itself for the Warriors with this Pelicans team was just more so like it was really a mixed bag and confusion for me. Like you dominate against yes, 3 days and was it 3 games and 4 nights for the Nuggets previous game?
Yeah.
When
the Nuggets lost at Chase Center, that was their 3rd game in 4 nights. And by the way, Stephen Curry is going to be reevaluated a week from today. So we'll hopefully get some good news on a week from today is March 3rd. That is the expected date where we hopefully get an update.
Right. And I was going to say, like, okay, you beat that team. You know, everyone's all talking about pods this, pods that, even though it was 1 quarter for Sideshow Bob, man. I mean, it's not really something to brag about, but sure. I was like, okay, it's a good win. I mean, relatively speaking. I mean, and then you go against this team, right? Like, I'm not expecting a steamroll by any chance, but I'm expecting it's like one of those games for tonight that the Warriors play the Pelicans that you're supposed to like take care of business, even if it's like a close competitive game, right? Because we know Pelicans aren't going to go down without a fight. You got Zion, former Warrior Pools on the team. I mean, yes, Trey Murphy wasn't playing tonight, but the return of what's his name, Murray. I forgot his first name already.
What's going on with Trey Murphy, by the way? Why was he out tonight? Do you know?
Not necessarily. I think he's dealing with some sort of maybe it's injuries or some sort of complication. I don't know the specific details, but I just know he wasn't available tonight. And then
he missed practice yesterday, and I'm trying to see what the issue is. They're hoping it's not a lengthy absence. Oh, shoulder. He has some sort of he has a shoulder injury.
Yeah, some sort of shoulder injury, something like that. But I think that's what kept him out. And then
what did you think about Jordan Poole's performance tonight?
I mean, I just think he's just still trying to find himself. Like, I don't think of him too highly right now because he's not with us. I mean, I would definitely want him over Pods all day for sure.
Will he ever find himself?
That's what I'm hoping for, because I never really had anything against the guy when he was with the Warriors. I just didn't like that Draymond punched him. You know, I mean, regardless of what happened or what was said, I'm like, he was still a brother to us. And yet, you know
cool.
what?
It wasn't cool.
Like,
it wasn't
yeah,
cool.
he was cool. And, you know, I know people don't really see it, but I saw it. Like, he was that guy, like, when Curry sat down and he got those minutes, like, you know, as the backup PG whenever he came in. Like, he was basically doing what Pods is supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, when they won the championship, he was a pivotal part of that. And the Dre punch was. I mean, this franchise never recovered from that. It's just a shame that like 4 years later, we still have the same shit. Still the same shit running things 4 years later from that. And I'm part of it stinks.
Yeah, and I'm also with you. Like, I'm waiting for a change too. I'm like, okay, first things first. Kerr needs to go. I'm already done with that dude. You know, this is just a washed up has-been. I'm done with him. You know, the glory days were okay when he was with KD, Clay, obviously Curry and Dre, but you know, those Iguodala and everyone, it's all done. Like, we need to start fresh, get some new actual experience of a head coach that knows how to play the minutes right for the players to make a more successful team. And then, you know, let's get things going with the modern era and not with living in the past with this small ball crap. You know, it's not working anymore. And then,
wait, you're telling me that you don't like a team that's comprised of tattoo?
I must have done about 100 miles.
Like, this guy doesn't impress you? You don't want a whole basketball team? I mean, you hear that guy? How cute is he? He's adorable. You don't want a whole bunch of tattoos? Oh, wait, we have that now. It's actually not adorable. It sucks.
No, he's funny. I like that. But, you know, with But with the NBA though, I mean, you can't really do a similar comparison with that because it's one of those things where it worked. Yes, it worked, but it's not working, and we need to like realize that. And Kerr's still not realizing that. I mean, we don't even know like we're not even sure what the future's gonna hold. Like the front office and them don't even know what they're gonna do. Like, are they still trying to make a playoff run? Do we still have to focus on the future? Who do we give up? Who do we keep? Like, I really thought that, like, it's still to this day, giving up JK and Buddy for Kristaps Porzingis, I still think was a bad move. And I'm being realistic. I actually don't like that move. Yes, KP when he played, I did watch that game. When he did play and he did do what he could do, it was solid. I'm not going to discredit him for that. And yes, he's still lingering with the Potts issue and everything. But at the same time, it's like, where does that lead for the Warriors? Like, what does that solve? What does that do? Yes, it's maybe for like, was it just the off the books contracts and stuff? Is that what it's mainly for? With KP, right?
Saving money. That's the impression I'm getting is that's why they did this trade was to get that money just off the books.
Yeah, but
it's utterly disingenuous of Joe Lacob though in that interview where he was like, "I've liked Kristaps Porzingis for a long time. He gives us size." Like that stuff was such bullshit. Nah. That was said strictly to placate a certain section of fans. Dude, there's nobody in their right mind is really expecting Kristaps Porzingis to suit up and play. POTS is serious shit.
It is.
Like Pingus has a heart condition. It's not a joking manner, and there's no cure for it. The only treatment for it is rest and fluids, meaning it's not going to just fix you overnight. That's the treatment plan is so that you calm your heart down, and then over a matter of how many hours or days, your heart rate resets. That's some serious shit. Like it would not surprise me if Porzingis retired after this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. That man has gone through so much. Like, I didn't even realize, like, I did see when he did get drafted by the Knicks, he was looking spry and he could be something in the league. But once those injuries like came through, and then some people even said like he was having some other lingering issues at the time, and then it developed into now it's like the POTS. But like what the sad part is that you're born with it too. Like, it's not something that just magically comes up out of nowhere. You're born with that. And apparently it wasn't like major with him at the time, but now it's become so well known. It's just a major, like, it's a major hit to the gut for the Warriors because you give up two players for a guy that's dealing with heart issues, basically. And that sucks.
The Buddy part of it is like whatever, but give up Kuminga for nothing. That's
no. I get that. Like, Buddy was inconsistent, yes, but like I said, it's just it really shows how this organization right now with Dunleavy and Kerr, it shows how they're not really, to me, is that they're not taking the season like seriously. They may seem like they're taking it serious, but I don't think so. Like, I don't know what they're doing. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't know what they're trying to do for the future and for the present right now. Like, are they trying to make a playoff push just to be first round exits?
Well, that's why I keep saying, like, I don't know what the direction is this team's going. Like, I have no clue. Like, is this exactly like, are they trying to win now? And if the answer to that is yes, like Porzingis, like you thought Pingus is gonna like, what, that's your win now strategy with Jimmy Butler out for the year, okay? And then if your goal is to build for the future, then why did you just give up a fundamental core young piece? I don't know what the direction of this team is right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, also real quick, I don't know if I said it earlier because it was kind of having some lag issues, but the reason why I have the bloomer icon going on, just for people also if they didn't hear me correctly, was because two reasons. One, because JK had a great performance with his new team with the Hawks. Kudos to him, because I'm still a JK fan. I don't care what anyone says. And two is because I'm actually looking forward to the draft, because I did do some research that the Warriors are actually going to get, or they're still obtaining a first round pick. That's actually a good pick. And then they're also, in the downfall of TJD losing him, you get a second round pick. So they actually have a good amount of picks coming up. So I'm actually feeling pretty good, regardless of how they played like bougie.
I don't know
tonight.
what that other first round pick is you're talking about. That's I don't follow there. They have their own pick, and you're right. They got that second rounder from Toronto for Trace Jackson Davis, but yeah.
No, I'm saying I'm just looking like for my own thinking and just in general. I'm just saying like they have something to look forward to in the draft coming up, while also celebrating JK's dominance coming back from his post knee and ankle injury and everything like that. So that's why I'm kind of feeling good tonight in those aspects. But obviously, I could have went with the Doomer pick for the Warriors, but I couldn't care less after what's going on. It's Sideshow Bob. Literally, it was Sideshow Bob tonight.
Well, that's Bloomer. That's the worst place I think you can be as a team, as a sport, as anything that's an entertainment product. When you're at a point where people just don't care anymore, that's the absolute lowest of lows, man. Like, I'd rather your team is shitty but interesting than just irrelevant. And you're right, they're damn close to that, man. They're damn close to that.
That's why I was saying like we should have just kept JK and Buddy. Yes, if you give him legit minutes, even Buddy every now and then, like if you just play them regardless of whatever the outcome is for the rest of the season, I'd rather see that than you trading those two for a guy that has heart issues. Yes, he's a big man, but it's not good. It's not a long-term solution. It's only like a minimal issue that's going to be solved for like a little bit. See, like played one game. Now where's he at? He's sick. He hasn't traveled with the team. Now what are the fans going to think about you, Steve and MDJ? Like, what's going on? Like, it's so confusing. Like, and then like I said, they win against the Nuggets team. Yes, 3 games in 4 nights, but then they lose against this Pelicans team that's worse than the Wizards that JK just dominated.
Bloomer, here's what's going to annoy me tomorrow night, because the Warriors are right back in action. They're in Memphis tomorrow. And the Grizzlies, the last time they played, they lost to Sacramento at home. The Kings snap in their 16-game losing streak. So we don't know if we're going to get a Grizzlies team tomorrow that's like motivated to come back from that loss, or if they're that bad where they're even losing home games to the Kings. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, this is the annoying part of this gig, because if the Warriors win tomorrow night, all the people that tonight are quiet and silent, with the exception of maybe that Jerry guy in our chat, when it comes to Steve Kerr and Brandin Podziemski, they're all going to come back tomorrow. If the Warriors win and go, see, Podziemski's good, man. See, he can lead your team to victory. And that's the other part of this that is a massive annoyance. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's an utter shame the fan base is not united on this front. It is such a shame that the fan base it has so many casuals I think it's just mostly casuals who are just Steve Kerr ride or die. But it's annoying as all shit, dude, because as long as those folks exist, there is no impetus for Joe Lacob to make change. Like, in other words, if you have enough fans just buying your shit, where is the incentive to do something different? Right? There is none.
Yeah, there's none.
Folks are still buying tickets. Folks are still rooting for your team. It's like, great. Why change anything? Yeah. Right? So, and it sucks. And I am preparing for those fools to come back tomorrow night, that if the Warriors win this game. See, Pods can play. Sigh, you don't know ball. You don't know shit.
Well, actually, Cyrus, I was actually going to ask you a legit question, actually, because I was talking about it with my uncle, because he's also a diehard Warriors fan. But he kind of told me it's like, not saying it's like a weak mindset, but he's kind of like a, why would you think that way? Because I asked him, like, do you think the Warriors should tank? And he's like, why would you want the Warriors to tank? They're still trying to make the playoffs. I'm like, yeah, but with who? They don't have anyone like legit healthy for most half of their roster. So that's why I was kind of bringing that back up to you, because I remember you talking about tanking, and it's like, does that affect, like, does tanking affect us getting a higher draft pick, or like, I'm actually kind of curious because I'm not so familiar with that area.
What's your question exactly? I can answer it, but I'm
should the Warriors tank and
yes.
And does yes okay, and then
easily
then my backup question to that is, does that help them get a higher draft pick?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, first of all, like there is a lottery, but the lottery only decides the first 4 picks, right? Or maybe it's even 3. It might even be just the top 3 picks. The rest of the picks in the lottery are in order based on record. So the worse the Warriors are, the higher their draft pick is going to be, like, just by design.
Right.
But at the same time, adding to that, the worse you are, the more ping pong balls you get. The way the NBA draft lottery works, if you folks are unfamiliar, there's this massive, huge ball that you spin around, and within this massive, I don't know what you call this thing. It's just a circular round thing that's hollow, and inside of it, you throw in 1,000 ping pong balls, and the ping pong balls have certain teams on them, and the worse you are, the more ping pong balls you get, and there's 1,000 of them total. And I can't remember how it works. I think if, like, you're the bottom 4, you get 140 ping pong balls, right? That's 14% total. So those are the 4 worst teams, and then you get less ping pong balls as you go down the pecking order of record. So the worse you are, the more ping pong balls you get in this circular thing that they spin around and then pull the ball out of. Now, with that said, miracles can happen. Case in point, we just saw it a year ago. The Dallas Mavericks, and I'm sure a lot of you cynical folks out there, and maybe you're right, I have no idea, but there's a lot of people that scream conspiracy about this. Nonetheless, if everything was followed by rule, the Mavericks, I think, had a 1.3% shot as one of the best lottery teams to get the number 1 pick, and they got the number 1 pick. Life changer. Like, their franchise went from just utter, a massive black pit of despair to a bright ball of sunshine, just like that, right? Because you got Cooper Flag. And so the Warriors, the worse they are, the higher their odds of getting a one of those ping pong balls pulled out for a top 3 pick. And if you get top 4, you're going to get a borderline surefire player who in year 1 you could celebrate as a rookie, and they're going to be giving you most likely 15, 20 points a game and all sorts of other numbers. And maybe just think of what Cooper Flag is doing this year. You can get that next year while also having Stephen Curry on your team. It's an exciting proposition. The better you do, the worse your odds are of getting that lottery pick. If you're a playoff team, you're not in the lottery period. That's where the line is drawn. The worst 14 teams gets a certain number of ping pong balls. The top 16 are not in the lottery. Their draft position is set strictly based off record. So yeah, the worse the Warriors do, the more likely they are to get a better draft pick. And in a year like this, where you have a lot of great players coming out, and some of these dudes are surefire, and especially when you have a front office that you don't know if you can trust. Like this draft is so deep that it almost doesn't matter. Like as long as you have a top pick or a top 5, top 10. Again, we're going to bring experts on this show in the near future who can break this stuff down a hell of a lot better than me, because I'm not an expert on the draft. The higher the odds are, you're gonna get someone special moving forward. And so yeah, logically on paper, I'm 100% pro tank. The only way from my perspective where I'd be like, all right, playoffs, sure, is if Stephen Curry comes back and he's fully healthy. Like, if Steph comes back and his desire is, let's go for it. All right, you're feeling good? Why not? Let's see what you can do, Steph. But if this runner's knee thing is as serious as it seems to be, tank. What the hell are you playing for? And Steve Kerr doesn't want to tank. Steve Kerr he's made that very clear. Like, I don't tank. Like, that's not what I do. All right, great. Thanks for not giving any shits about the future of the team you coach. You made that very clear for 4+ years now. And I guess we have to put up with this shit another year, because all you apparently can do is manage players who are already developed and who already have skill sets, and you can't do shit with raw talent. And this is the position we're in. So you could tell your uncle or wherever that was, yes, tanking is the prudent decision. But at the same time, if Steph comes back and he's actually really healthy and can sustain a deep postseason run, and that's a massive what if. It's a what if that I don't have faith in. Sure, why not? Go out there and do what you got to do. But
I appreciate that, Cyrus, and because I was on my every day I leave work, I always hear 95.7 The Game, because again, it's free. I don't like those guys on there. I don't like those guys on there, but it's the only.
It's okay. I'm not saying anything either. But what are they saying though?
Like, they're just basically talking like they're just Steve Kerr butt kissers. Like they're always talking about the guy in the front office and how, oh, we're going through certain woes here and there, but as long as we keep our wits together and we just keep rooting for our guys. And they even talk about Pod's extension. I'm like, what the actual F? Pod's extension? Are you kidding me? That is not the way to go. I'm like,
are they really talking about that on the station?
Like they're talking about like, oh, like I think it was Steiny and Goo. Not Willard and Dibbs, not those guys. It was the other guys. They're just talking about like, oh yeah, if the Warriors can't really, decide about what they want for the future, they should think about extensions with what they have right now. Like, they have Pods. They can probably think about giving an extension. They already have Moody on a good deal. I'm like, okay, this seems kind of skeptical in such a way. I'm like, this is something that Sai should definitely hear because, this is not like gonna make us at least relevant in terms of like serious running for like at least for another chip at least. And I'm like, you're just gonna be mediocrity the whole way then.
I only have one message for anyone out there who insanely thinks Brandin Podziemski deserves a contract extension.
Fuck you.
That's it. All right, Bloomer. Any final thoughts before we start to wrap it up here?
Yeah, final thoughts is that, this year so far has been such a roller coaster of a ride. I really hope that, things change and like what you and I and actual realistic true Warrior fans, things come to fruition. I really hope so. It's not the other way around and that, positive ways will come our way in terms of what we're thinking, because not what they're thinking, but what we're thinking. And
by the way, before you go, I was talking about that picture of the media room for the visitors. The picture, here it is right here. I'll show everybody so they can see it. And this was taken by the great Tim Roy, who's the radio broadcaster of your Golden State Warriors, Mr. Elevation Sensation. And so here's the picture he took. And apologies to the podcast audience who cannot see this clearly, but for the YouTube audience, this is what a typical visiting locker room resembles. And if you can see this, there's the great Raymond Ritter in the far right. I don't know who this bald gentleman next to him is. I'm going to guess that's New Orleans media. That's Anthony Slater right there, second from left. That's Sam Gordon, far left. I'm going to guess this dude right here. That's you can't see in the picture on the far right. I'm going to guess that's Joseph Dykes. And this is your media room. So the next time you see Steve Kerr talking to the media after a game on the road, and some rooms are exceptions to this. Like, for example, if they're a crypto, right? I'm going to guess the visiting locker room is more extravagant and is larger, and you're going to have a bigger visiting media contingent. But typically on your average NBA night, this is what it looks like. And it's Steve just talking to like 2 or 3 dudes. And it's remarkable. So that's the picture of that. Again, Tim Roy, respect to him for posting that.
Nice.
And Bloomer,
well,
hope you have a great night, man. Thanks. Great to hear from you as always.
Thanks for sharing that. I hope to see you again, Si. Hopefully I can try to make it to the next live. If not, then just keep on making great content. Hope to see Ryan Leong come on again, because that was awesome when he came on. I watched that stream. And also the professor this coming up Friday, definitely need some of those. And bring on the Danger Zone.
I love it. Real quick, before we go to the Danger Zone, I promised I'd read a message. And that message is, again, if you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, if that's how you get this show, or even if you don't, you just want to help us out and support the show, we could always use your help and support there, because currently we have 75 ratings. We have a 4 out of 5, which is good, but it's not great, far from it. And again, these assholes who are just Steve Kerr apologists, this is the lengths they go to. I've mentioned before, I've gotten literal death threats, all because people can't handle me criticizing their beloved Steve Kerr, and that grace or lack thereof is extended sometimes to Apple Podcasts and the opportunity where people may have to help to hurt us. And so what I offer in return is if you give us a 5-star review, I will read your comment on the show. Even if it's a hateful comment, as long as you leave the 5 stars, I will read it. And we'll use that for tonight's mailbag and then go into the danger zone right after that.
Letters. We get letters. We get stacks and stacks of letters.
All right, this one. Oh, I forgot music. I always forget to start the music. My apologies for that. All right, we got some tunes, and then we'll go to the danger zone in just a second. But this is a long one. This is from Sean Painter. Got some tunes here. Get some juice on the volume. All right. Sean Painter writes with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Thank you, brother. Golden Days, parentheses, spelled dazed, like the iconic 1993 slacker classic Dazed and Confused, is the only podcast you need if you're a Golden State Warriors fan who actually wants to understand what's really going on with the team. I started listening to Cyrus Saatsaz when he hosted Locked On Warriors. He eventually left because of quote-unquote creative differences. I'm going to pause 1 second and add, it wasn't creative differences. It was they were stealing money from me financially, and I'm going to sue the shit out of them. I'm not going to comment any further than that, but because there might be a lawsuit going on right now. But it was entirely a financial thing. And you could also add creative differences, I guess, as well. We continue. In reality, those differences were Cyrus refusing to become a media puppet who spews propaganda just to earn the right to ask softball questions of players and coaches. Sean, you're killing me here with kindness. Cyrus brings up the uncomfortable conversations, and he's often forward-thinking about what is going on with the Warriors, often way ahead of legacy media. He's the one who finally persuaded me that Steve Kerr has to go as head coach and has probably already squandered the Warriors at least one more ring. If you disagree, I challenge you to listen to a few episodes. Sure, Cyrus is definitely vociferous. Parentheses, warning, yelling may occur. What are you talking about? Sorry, I had to do that. But he refuses to let people get away with ad hominem attacks or lazy logical fallacies. Even better, he'll actually let you come on the air and make your point. If you truly take issue with him, show up and defend your position. It will certainly be entertaining for those listening. For us Golden Dazers, listening to Cyrus after a game is either the best way to get over a brutal loss, usually because Kerr played sideshow pods too long, or a way to celebrate when these blind squirrels actually put one together. The shows like this review can go on forever, but I implore everyone to remain until the closing moments, parentheses for ratings, unparentheses, but especially if Shardal shows up. We're about to go to the danger zone in just a second here. Shardal is the show's magnificently incognizant, unofficial entertainment attaché, institutional, comic relief, co-host extraordinaire. Whew. It's idiosyncratic comedy at its best, and you'll learn all kinds of personal information about him that your brain refuses to delete, even after repeated applications of scotch. I love scotch in my belly. That was me. That's my thoughts, not this post. Almost done there. Continuing on. And as Shardal would say, I'm a big fan of Cyrus' channel and content. Definitely subscribe. Also, go Aztecs. Sean, and we're done. Sean Painter, writing that on the Golden Days Apple Podcast review. Sean, I'm beyond flattered. That was an incredible review, folks. I promise, and I did not screen that either. I did not even take a look at that until just now. I promise you don't have to butter me up, other than the 5-star review if you want me to read it. But Sean, that was so nice, brother. I don't know how to respond to that. That was one of the most graciously kind things anyone has ever said or written about the show, and I am beyond appreciative and grateful. Thank you. And on that note, yeah, KKS, that was just I don't know how to respond to that. Other than just thanks. With all my heart, thank you. With that said, I love the Chardol reference, and it leads us to the danger zone.
Stay at home, son.
Oh, and with that said, you can you can subscribe to Chardol's YouTube channel at SGA Sports Talk. We are officially now in the danger zone. Chardol, did you hear that review?
I heard that review. That was really touching.
Incredible. I'm like blown away.
Can you play the
that.
intro song for me?
You want another one?
Yeah.
I'm a stay-at-home son.
All right. How you doing, Chardol?
Hi, Cy. I'm doing great tonight. How are you doing on this Tuesday night?
Doing okay, man. More importantly,
as the New Orleans Pelicans dismantled the Golden State Warriors by a final score of 113-109 from the Smoothie King Center in downtown New Orleans, Louisiana. And this loss was very brutal to see this team be so inconsistent, but they're highly resilient and they can bounce back from this loss when they go up against their next opponent, which is the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis, Tennessee, from the FedEx Forum.
Beautiful. Chardol, did you call into 95.7 The Game earlier?
I called into 95.7 The Game.
Who was hosting?
Mark Grandy.
So not your favorite, but did you at least get a good comment in?
I got a good comment in.
What did you say tonight, or did you just keep it vanilla and just compliment, or what did you say?
Keep it vanilla.
Okay, all right. That's cool. Was Mark nice to you?
Mark was nice to me.
That's a relief. What did you think of the game?
This loss was brutal. This organization gave all their blood, sweat, and tears, but they weren't able to get the win tonight over a dismal New Orleans Pelicans squad.
They are dismal.
Consisting of Jordan Poole, Herb Jones, and Zion Williamson.
Zion looked good tonight, huh?
I love Zion Williamson. What were your thoughts on Zion Williamson?
He looked good. I'm surprised that the Pelicans are that bad, despite the fact that he's for the most part healthy. It tells me either Zion is just not that good of a player ultimately, or something. I don't know. Something feels amiss there because Zion, he looked good, but the Pelicans, this was their 16th win of the year, 17th. Where we're at 17th. So I don't know what's going on with the Pelicans.
Ohlone College is putting on a production of Urinetown,
okay,
which is taking place on July 10th, 11th, 12th, 16th, 17th, 18th to 8:30. Let me tell you a little bit about what the musical's about.
Okay.
So it's set in a dystopian future. With a severe water shortage.
Okay.
That controls public restrooms, satirizing capitalism, social irresponsibility, and musical theater itself.
Are you in the play yourself?
I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, you're gonna watch it? Why are you talking about a play right now? What's going on here?
Because when we did the show last time, we talked about musicals.
Ah, you're right. You like musicals.
I love musicals.
Not the high school musicals. Like more
I
like
love like Lion King, Phantom of the Opera, Little Shop of Horrors type of New York style Broadway productions.
Sound of Music, Mary Poppins.
Where you dress up nicely.
I love the Little Shop of Horrors reference. Oh, you dress up for these things?
No, like when if I went to a Broadway musical in New York, I would dress up in a black all black suit with a tie.
Are you gonna dress up at Ohlone College?
No, I'll just wear like a black shirt and a jacket. I won't, because it's just a school production, so I don't want to look all like it's not a New York production. It's basically it's if you like sad musicals that have satire, like South Park, and you'll definitely love the musical. They made a movie out of it.
And Hamilton
made a movie out of it.
What does your closet look like, Chardol? Like, do you have a bunch of suits in there? Or is it like hoodies or
and shirts and suit jackets in there in my closet?
How many suit jackets do you own? Just ballpark.
3.
Okay, that's normal. All right. I was picturing like 20 because you've told us stories of you being in a tuxedo. I've heard stories of you at dance recitals where you're dressed up. I was picturing more extravagant. So you're very down to earth when it comes to the your accessories.
I really love you, and whenever I come on your show, I feel very respected that you're not going to. I feel very.
Who are you going to go to this play with?
By myself.
Don't you think this play would be the perfect opportunity for you to ask one of your dance instructors to go on a date with you?
But it's too. It'll make them uncomfortable because the musical it's a satire, and if I ask my instructors, they might not like musicals that have a lot of satire.
Well, you won't know.
A lot of exposition.
Let me ask you this: Are you?
Sai,
have you?
You sounded like you sound like you're under the water.
I do.
You sound like you're under the water.
Check.
1 2. Now I could hear you.
Hey now, Chardal, let me ask you this: Do you understand what it feels like to have vibes with someone else, like where you have a good hint they like you based off eye contact and or subtle physical gestures?
I love to create a lot of vibes with people. Because when you create vibes with people, that's the way you make connections with people. When you two vibe, you like the same things. You like pizza, she likes pizza. You like pasta, she likes pasta.
I'm not talking about like having things in common with someone. I'm talking about like romantic vibes where they're giving you subtle signals that they want you to make a move. Have you ever read that from another person?
It's kind of hard to read their body, like you have to look at somebody's body language on how their body language is.
Well, and when I say body language, I really mean face. Like they're usually telling you with their face if they want. But what I'm trying to say here is, did any of your dance instructors ever give you vibes that makes you think, if I ask this person out, she might say yes?
So like when I was dancing with one of my instructors, they gave me those romantic feelings that when you dance with them, they look at you. You look in their eyes, and they look in your eyes and give you that look. Like I like this person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like when you look in their eyes, they look back at you. It shows that they like you, don't they?
I mean, I have to be. There's no way to.
No, but when I'm dancing, then I can clearly see how I like, because when I'm dancing on the floor and I'm looking in her eyes, you can you're both looking at each other, right? So you can see what she likes about you because that's the closest scenario that you compare to this.
When you're dancing in these with your partner, do you ever get that weird feeling, that funny feeling where you go?
I get that funny feeling sometimes when I'm dancing with them.
Do they feel it?
They feel it.
So, if they felt that and they were not offended by it, ask one of them. I say shoot your shot, brother.
Like what Eminem says.
What's up?
You got one shot. Or you got one opportunity.
Yeah.
And if you don't take that one opportunity, then you'll lose your shot.
I mean, like Eminem, yes, exactly. Like
you only got one shot, one opportunity, and if you don't take that one shot, you lose it.
I mean, look, man, if you're dancing with someone and they feel and they're not offended by that, you might be in.
Would you say like stroking when a woman strokes a guy's hair, would you say that's romantic?
Yes.
When they stroke their hair, guy's hair?
Yes. Were they stroking your hair?
No, I wish they did do that.
Okay. Well, yeah. I was gonna say, like, they did that. What are you doing, buddy? Shoot your shot. The worst they can say is no.
Sai, you actually look really good. Your appearance looks really nice.
No, man. I want you to find success out there. I want you to find. I guess you've never been in love, right?
I've never been in love before.
I want you to experience that feeling. You're a good dude. I think you can make it happen. And side note, I think it would make for some amazing stories.
What people say, I'm not an amazing guy.
F them. Who cares what anyone else thinks? Who
Don't
cares?
say you're ugly.
Who's saying that?
No, but when somebody says you're ugly, they come up to me and they say we don't like it.
F them, dude.
No, what I'm gonna say, stop dancing.
Who told you that?
No, but when somebody says stop dancing, we don't like to see you dance.
These are all situational. Who cares? Stop. Never let the opinions of others dictate what you want to do in life. And yeah, who gives a shit about what these other people think? Chardal, shoot your shot. If you were dancing with this person and they literally fell, go for it. I think you're in.
But sometimes when I go for it, I feel a little bit like if I try and go for it, what happens if she says no?
You move on. That's it. Just if she says no, say okay. Well, thanks anyways. Bye. That's it. Chances are with your dance instructor, she's not going to just shut you down that fast because you're going to be seeing this person again. So she'll probably come up with some excuse. If she doesn't want to go with you, she might say she has a boyfriend or she has plans or she doesn't see you like that. Like she only sees you as a friend. Whatever the answer is, you just say, okay, and that's it. And you move on. But you're never going to know unless you shoot your shot. And you're never going to find that love again if you don't shoot your shot. Sure, don't shoot your shot.
New Orleans is a really great city. I love New Orleans.
You've been there.
I love the food. I love the music. I love the people. The ambiance. The cool.
Do you know the actor Shia LaBeouf?
I know Shia LaBeouf.
Did you see those pictures of him in New Orleans recently?
He was in New Orleans.
He's been in New Orleans. He went to jail. The reason why I bring him up because it looks like he relapsed, and I hope he's okay because that addiction and all that stuff is very. And the really good thing I like about New Orleans, like the benefit of going to New Orleans, is you can hold your drink in your hand while you're walking down Bourbon Street. Correct. Do you like those big long those drinks with the super narrow like?
Yeah, to me, like when I look at those when you go to New Orleans and you get those long drinks, it kind of reminds you in Vegas. You know, they have all like inside the hotels, they have like these bars where you can get the big drinks and and hold them while you go. Yeah. And in Vegas. So I didn't realize that Vegas and New Orleans are the two cities that you can have the drink in your hand. In Las Vegas, you can hold the drink in your hand and walk down the street, the strip.
Correct.
And drink your beverage.
Correct. Well, Shia LaBeouf was in New Orleans, and the reason why I mention him, I don't give a shit about him in general, but he's been in the news, and the funniest picture of him during this whole stint where he's in New Orleans doing who knows why he's there. He's pictured outside this. I'm guessing it looks like a po' boy shop. Do you know what a po' boy is?
I had a po' boy in New Orleans. It's basically a sandwich on French bread, and you can have Creole sauce on it, and you can also put shrimp on it if you want. You could basically do it. I've never had one, but it's I know I know what you're talking about.
They're delicious, and shrimp po' boys are like the way to go in my book. My point is, there's a famous picture that has become notorious of Shia LaBeouf sitting outside of a po' boy a deli with a Niners shirt. I didn't know he was a Niner fan. So that was the whole point of this, is that Shia LaBeouf is Niner Bang Bang, or how's that song go?
Bang Bang Niner Gang.
Bang Bang Niner Gang. Thank you. I sounded ridiculous. Yes, Bang Bang Niner Gang. He's that dude. Shia LaBeouf is Bang Bang Niner Gang.
I never knew Shia LaBeouf was a 49er fan.
I didn't know that either. Dude parties and dude loves the Niners.
So if I ever go back to New Orleans, I would love to go to Cafe Du Monde and have the warm beignets with the chicory coffee.
Oh, dude!
And the powdered sugar.
Well, and you're right. The beignets at Cafe Du Monde are phenomenal. If you ever go to New Orleans, I'm going to give you a local recommendation. I'm
glad we're doing a Warriors and Pelicans postgame show because I get to talk about New Orleans. That's why I'm glad that the Warriors are playing New Orleans.
It's one of the greatest cities in the world. I firmly believe that. But there's a place called District Donuts and Sliders. And the best donut I've ever had in the world. Every day they line up something like 8 or 10 different very unique donuts. They also have burger sliders that are to die for. New Orleans food is just phenomenal, man. I even like the gator. I had like a gator on a stick. It was good. I think I was hammered when I ate it, but it was still really good. Anyway, Charlotte, you ready to go to jump into the scoreboard? Yeah.
One thing you should definitely try when you go if you ever visit over there, try frog legs in buffalo sauce.
Okay.
They taste like chicken. You won't even you won't even recognize the difference. So you eat it, it tastes like chicken wings.
I believe you. You ready to go through the scores?
I'm ready to go over the scoreboard and let's wrap up the show for tonight.
Beautiful. We start in Indiana, where the Philadelphia 76ers were victorious, 135-114 to improve to 32-26 on the year. The Pacers dropped to 15-44. I don't know who M. Potter is with the Pacers. He was, according to ESPN, their top performer tonight. And M. Potter is Micah Potter, who's in his 4th season, and he was the top performer for the Pacers tonight with 23 points. Tyrese Maxey, 32 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists in the win. Chardal, the next game I'm going to read to you is the Jonathan Kuminga game. Have you been following along with his first game back?
I've been following with Jonathan Kuminga. He had a great debut. As a member of the Atlanta Hawks, he had a great performance. I mean, that might be one of his best performances as a member of the Hawks.
Well, it was his only performance, but I follow you. And Will Riley for the Wizards. In case you're wondering, who the hell is Will Riley? He is a rookie. He was drafted in the first round by the Wizards. Pick number 21, originally selected by Utah. I don't know how he ended up on the Wizards, but Will Riley was Washington's top performer tonight with 18 points. The Hawks victorious 119-98. They improved to 29-31 on the year. The Wizards dropped to 16-41. And Jonathan Kuminga, former Golden State Warrior, 27 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists in the win. Chardal, were you sad that Kuminga was putting up these numbers on a different team?
I mean, it was very sad to see Jonathan Kuminga put up these numbers on a different team because I really wanted him to stay on the Warriors. I didn't want him to leave the Warriors and go to another team.
Me too. But what are you going to do? Well,
it's so
we move
sad.
on.
It's so sad to see Kuminga on another team.
It is sad.
It's kind of like if I was playing on the Bulls and then I got traded to the Lakers and then people said we miss you. That's exactly how I would feel about Jonathan Kuminga leaving the Warriors to go to play for the Hawks. I mean, it'll be a very similar scenario. I know it's a hypothetical scenario, but I mean, it will be that would kind of be, if that was the case, that would be very similar to what Jonathan Kuminga felt when he left the Warriors to go and play for the Hawks.
Chardal, I have a very serious question for you. Just give me a very short answer because we don't need the details. But in your opinion, are you ready?
I'm ready.
In your opinion, should the Warriors go for it this year or should they tank?
The Warriors should go for it.
All right. Chardal spoken. We go to Brooklyn, where the Nets were losers tonight.
So
the Dallas Mavericks, 123-114 the final. The Mavericks improving to 21-36. Brooklyn dropping to 15-42. Nick Claxton, 16 points, 9 assists, 3 steals in the loss.
So I watched that Johnny Carson show when he was Karnak the Magnificent.
Yes.
And when he did that, and I watched it, and that was the funniest thing ever. I was cracking up watching that.
Dude, Carson was a legend, dude.
When next for Halloween as my next costume for Halloween, should I dress up as Karnak the Magnificent?
Karnak the Magnificent, yeah.
Would people laugh? Would people laugh? Yeah. Would people laugh if I dress up as Karnak the Magnificent? Will they laugh? Or would they say it weird?
I don't think they would know what you're dressed up as because most younger people have no clue about Carson. So that would be my guess. I say go for it anyway.
Do some people know who Johnny Carson is?
Yes.
Yes. So then,
but I don't think they know. I don't think they know the minutia. I don't think they know.
So some people would know who Karnak the Magnificent is.
That's where they might get lost. They might get lost about Karnak the Magnificent.
But it's fun. But he's a funny guy.
He's a very funny guy.
And Johnny Carson is a comedian.
Brandin Williams of the Mavericks was their top performer tonight, 19 points, 10 assists. The OKC Thunder, this was a big game tonight. Well, sort of big. We're in Toronto taking on the Raptors, and despite not having Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they're still victorious, 116-107 the final. Cason Wallace, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists in the win. RJ Barrett, 21 points, 8 rebounds in the loss. The Thunder improving to 45-14. The Raptors dropping to 34-24. A final.
So I looked at the USA Olympic 2028 USA Olympic men's basketball roster,
and
Stephen Curry is not listed on there.
Well, that's not a final roster. That's just the early projected roster. And if Steph wants to play, he'd probably make the team. I'm guessing because Kevin Durant also wants to play, and I'm guessing he wasn't on that list either, right?
So is that predicted? Like they're not really sure what their final roster is going to look like.
No, it's way too early. That's 2028.
Then why are they putting that on YouTube? Why are they putting that on Google? The predicted projected roster for the Olympics for Team USA.
Just for clicks, for content. That's it. In Cleveland, the Cavaliers 109-94 winners tonight over the New York Knicks. The Cavaliers improving to 37-22. The Knicks dropping to 37-22. Jared Allen, 19 points, 10 rebounds in the win. Mitchell Robinson, 11 points, 16 boards in the loss for New York. Yeah, sure.
So for the New York Knicks and Cavaliers game, I made a prediction. I said that Knicks will win by 40. And Jalen Brunson will drop more than 45 points. I was gravely mistaken. That did not happen tonight. So my prediction was wrong. So if I put it on Prize Picks, if I made that on Sleeper, I would have lost money. If I put that prediction 40 points, 40-point win for the Knicks, and then 45 or more points for Brunson, I would lose money if I put that on Sleeper.
Well,
if I made a parlay, I would have lost money.
I know, Shardall. Who's the sponsor of this show?
FanDuel.
So let's keep it with FanDuel, okay?
But I don't have FanDuel.
Well, then lie. But don't mention the competition. Not on this show, please. All right?
FanDuel is not available in my country.
Okay, but then just don't mention the other ones. All right?
But why do people mention Sleeper when you go on other shows? Like
maybe those other shows are sponsored by Sleeper.
Like Larry Krueger.
Offered a Sleeper sponsorship ourselves, and I had to turn them down.
Why did you turn them down?
FanDuel.
It's
a conflict of interest, Shardall. But my sponsor does not like other sports books names being mentioned. So only FanDuel. What?
Would Gab Goody be very offended if I mention other sponsors and not other than FanDuel?
Yes.
Would you be very offended if you mentioned Sleeper over FanDuel? Would she be offended?
Yes, so am I. So let's stop, okay?
Yeah. I don't want to offend. Gab Goody is going to be offended if I mention that.
You don't want to offend Gab Goody. Hell no. Yeah, no. By the way, Shardall, some chats have come in. They called me crazy, writes. All I want to know is, what is Steph thinking while his team looks like this? Bad energy with Quentin Post and Brandin Podziemski getting into it this game. Meanwhile, the team's scapegoat is having a resurgence on a new team. I'm glad you brought this up. We forgot to touch on this. Hold on, Shardall. Early in the show, Quentin Post and Brandin Podziemski going into a timeout were filmed having, I don't know how you describe it. It wasn't heated. It wasn't like I don't think they were getting into a fight or anything like that, but there was some sort of discussion being had between the two that may have been a difference of opinion, and then Draymond Green stepped in between the two, acting as peacemaker, and then and that devolved into a full-blown conversation between Draymond Green and Brandin Podziemski. Again, I have no clue what the context of all that was, but I also do agree that it wasn't a good look for your Golden State Warriors. And in regards to how Stephen Curry feels about all this, I honestly don't think he gives a shit. I think Stephen Curry is so busy and he has 0 free seconds in his life. Like, in other words, he has an assistant who every day when he wakes up tells him what his day looks like, minute by minute. This includes practice, interviews, everything. And he has a family with 4 amazing kids, a lovely wife that he dearly loves. I don't think he gives a shit, which is all the more reason why I don't respect Steve Kerr for going to these lengths to try to make Steph happy.
So I don't
want to. It's why I call Steve Kerr egotistical and obtuse, because Steph is not asking for any of this. Steph just looks at his coach and says, "Yes, coach, whatever you say." Now, do you want to blame him for that? I think that's a fair criticism. But
so I won't
Steph is
ever.
too busy. He's got a new movie out. He's got the #1 movie in the world right now. GOAT. Have you seen that movie, by the way? GOAT.
I've watched that movie.
Was it good?
It was really good, actually.
Steph is a busy man, is what I'm trying to say. I don't think he cares enough about that.
So
stuff.
I won't ever bring up another company over FanDuel because this show is sponsored by FanDuel. I'm not going to bring up another sponsor. I'm just going to talk about FanDuel. I don't want to offend you. We have a great friendship here. I don't want to offend you. You're gonna ban me from your channel.
I'm not gonna ban you. But I just don't want. Look, FanDuel is our sponsor. They treat us good. I don't want to offend them. That's the goal here. Sure.
If I offend them, FanDuel might ban me if I offend FanDuel.
No, I would come to your defense, but it won't get that far. Let's just not mention other sports books. Danielle Bordig. How do you pronounce that? Danielle Bordigray. Danielle Bordigray drops a $2 donation. Charlotte, this might be for you. Writing that I hope I got the gender correct, saying she loves watching us and loves the realness. Charlotte, I think this was meant for you.
We try and maintain the realness up in here.
Oh yeah.
We try to be as real as we can. We try and keep it as real as we can over here.
Charlotte, have you ever watched the Chappelle Show?
I've watched the Chappelle Show.
Have you ever seen the sketch when keeping it real goes wrong?
I'll definitely watch that, and then next time when I come on the show, I'll give my reaction to it next time I come on. I'll watch the whole thing from beginning to end, and when I come on the show next time, I'll create a review on the show, and then I'll come next time and I'll share it with you.
All right, sounds good.
I'll let you know how I felt about it.
All right, sounds good. Danielle, thank you very much for the paid chat. Appreciate you. Money Checkups asking in the chat, does FanDuel send us merch? No, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I think they sent a shirt once, maybe, but no, not that often. All right, Charlotte. Let's go
the Santa Cruz Warriors are having a game at Chase Center against the San Diego Clippers, which is the G League affiliate of the Los Angeles Clippers. They're having a game over there, and it's gonna. Okay. And I really want to go to it because I've never been to a G League game.
Cool.
They're really fun and they're cheap. They're very cheap. G League games are super cheap.
Agreed. Let's get through these scores. The Charlotte Hornets beating the ever-living piss out of the Chicago Bulls tonight. 131-99, the final, a 32-point win at the United Center in Chicago. Brandin Miller, 23 points in the win. Buzelis, 32 points, 7 rebounds in the loss.
You didn't mention Ditka and Sausage?
You're right, I forgot. Yeah, Ditka, Sausage. How about just doubles?
Let's say doubles.
Doubles. The Bucks beat the Heat tonight. 120.
I would. Cam is for having a petition that that if you go to a Warriors game, you sit behind the bench and then you put up a sign that says "Fire Kerr." I'll sign that petition.
I will too. Well, and again,
Cam's
Cam,
petition,
if you're out there, send that petition ASAP. So
and I will sign it, and Cy will also sign as well. I want to sit behind the bench and have a sign saying "Fire Kerr."
It's not a signing. He's asking for financial donations.
No, I want to sit behind the bench and hold up a sign that says "Fire Kerr."
But you have to. But it's not a signing. He's
no. I'm not saying signing. I'm saying I'll sign the petition. And I'll sit. We'll all sit behind the bench.
I know. What I'm saying is, he's not asking you to sign a petition. He's asking you to donate to a cause, and the cause.
I'll donate money.
There you go.
I'll donate money to the cause.
There you go. The Milwaukee Bucks.
I'll donate $5.
Winners tonight. Milwaukee improves to 25-31. The Heat dropped to 31-28. Andrew Wiggins, former Warriors, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks in the loss for the Heat. Kevin Porter Jr., 32 points, 7 boards, 7 assists for the Bucks, who are suddenly experiencing a bit of a resurgence following the addition of Cam Thomas. The Boston Celtics. This was a game that helped the Golden State Warriors because the Phoenix Suns are reeling. With Dylan Brooks out indefinitely with a broken, I think, hand or wrist. They say 4 to 6 weeks. So they don't have him. They don't have Devin Booker. And as a result, even though the Warriors lost tonight, the Suns are still within grasp. Thanks to Boston beating them tonight, 97-81. Derek White, 22 points, 8 rebounds 8 assists in the win. The Phoenix Suns, Colin Gillespie, 15 points in the loss. Boston now 38-19. The Suns dropped to 33-26. 2 more. We're almost there. Minnesota defeating Portland tonight. Another result that helps the Warriors. 124-121 the final. Jaden McDaniels, 29 points, 6 boards, 3 steals in the win. Donovan Clingan, 11 points, 16 rebounds, 3 steals in the loss. And last, but certainly not least, speaking of good results for the Warriors, this one, I don't know if it matters for the postseason, but anytime the Lakers lose, we're happy. And the Orlando Magic went into crypto tonight and beat LA 110-109 the final. Paolo Banchero, 36 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists in the win. Luka Doncic, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 15 assists in the loss. The Lakers dropped to 34-23. The Magic improved to 31-26. And if we look at the standings right now, your Golden State Warriors are the 8th seed, just 2 back of Phoenix in the loss column. Chardol, did you know that the Warriors are just 2 games behind Phoenix for the 7th seed?
The Warriors are 2 games behind Phoenix for the 7th seed?
Correct.
That's very surprising. I would never expect that.
Well, because Phoenix is struggling. Their 2 best players out indefinitely with injuries. So a window for the Warriors, again, just 2 back of Phoenix for the 7 seed, and they currently have a 2-game lead over the Clippers, who are 2 back. And then Portland is 3 losses back. Those are your 9 and 10 seeds.
So when I watched the movie GOAT in theaters, there was a lot of brand sponsorships in the whole movie.
There was? Like what?
There was Steph Curry's high school jersey, Charlotte Christian Knights jersey that was hanging in the movie. There was DoorDash, which was mentioned in the movie. So there, Under Armour was mentioned in the movie. A lot of sponsorships in the movie.
So Under Armour got some free love?
Yeah, it wasn't sponsored the movie Under Armour.
Dude, Under Armour just milking.
And DoorDash was in the movie too.
Did you see the story, Chardol, of Under Armour stealing Curry Brand's Instagram followers?
That's so wrong.
Very wrong.
Why would you do that?
Curry Brand went from having Curry Brand's Instagram account, this is a true story, went from having something like 200,000 or 300,000 followers. And Instagram followers carry a lot more weight than, let's say, Twitter or one of these other platforms. And Under Armour just swapped the Curry Brand account with a new account they made, stole the followers, and left Curry Brand with like 20 followers. I don't know what Curry Brand is at now, but really messed up. Under Armour just took everything in a divorce, man. Like everything. And that's it. I think we're done. Chardol, any final thoughts?
The Golden State.
Real quick, Hamza Kassem is asking, do you see, and you've been asking this a lot, sorry, Hamza, asking, do you see the Warriors getting eliminated in the play-in? Great question. Yes.
I would not.
Well, you have an answer?
I would not like to see the Golden State Warriors make it to the play-in tournament, because for me, I don't like the play-in tournament. It's very I don't want us to make it because I don't know if we might get eliminated. We might move on. They're going
to be in it. So
I can't admit that fact that we're going to be in the play-in.
I'm like 95% certain they're going to be in the play-in because
I'm 99% certain that we're going to make it.
Yeah, in the play-in. Yeah, the play-in's going to happen. But I think it depends. Like if they somehow finish in a spot where they play Phoenix in their first game, Phoenix out of the 4 play-in teams, it's likely going to be Phoenix, the Warriors, the Clippers, the Trailblazers. Clippers and Trailblazers, I think, can beat the Warriors handily. Phoenix, the Warriors match up well with them. So take that for what it's worth. And a lot of it depends on Steph too, right? What's Steph's health? What's his availability? Chardol, what are your thoughts on runner's knee? Because that's what Stephen Curry is dealing with right now.
I mean, Stephen Curry is one of my favorite basketball players. I own a lot of his jerseys.
One of? Who else? One of?
No, I own 3 of his jerseys. I own the San Francisco jersey, and then I own I own the Oakland, the jersey that they wore when they were back in Oakland, and then I got the new jersey, the new San Francisco, the current jersey that I have right now. I have 3 of them.
But Chardol, you said he's one of your favorites. So who are the other favorites?
I mean, Stephen Curry is one of my favorite players. Like in terms of like does things for the community. I think that Stephen Curry does great things for Eat, Learn, and Play with his wife Ayesha Curry.
Sounds good. All right.
You
get what I was trying to say there? You said, like, if he was your only favorite, you would have phrased that Stephen Curry is my favorite, but you said Stephen Curry is one of my favorites.
No, I'll say Stephen Curry is one of my favorite players.
Okay, so there are no other players in the same conversation, right?
None of the players in the same conversation.
All right, sounds good.
So
tell people.
I'll
see your intro one more time so that they can see
your
YouTube channel.
Stay at home, son.
We're about to get out of the danger zone and call it a night, but
my YouTube channel is SGA Sports Talk channel. I'm at 529 subscribers on my subscribers.
Look at you.
And I'm on the road to 600.
Look at you.
Please subscribe to the Cy and Golden Days in reference to the 1993 Matthew McConaughey movie Dazed and Confused. He's at 5,200 subscribers, 800 subs away from 6,000. So keep supporting my guy Cy. He makes some great content.
More importantly, support this man right here, Shardal. SGA Sports Talk. 529. You're gaining. Look at you.
I gained 5 subscribers. I'm proud. I gained 5 subscribers.
Shardal, do you like my new profile pic?
I love your profile picture.
This is what it'd look like if neither of us were on camera right now.
We should do a show when we're neither one's on camera.
Do it like this the whole time.
We should do this the whole time.
All right.
So I'll join you on Wednesday. I'll join you on
tomorrow.
I'll join you tomorrow for the Warriors and Grizzlies post game show, and I'll join you on Friday for happy hour with Professor Armando Lara.
Beautiful. And the Warriors, like you just mentioned a moment ago, they're playing again tomorrow at Memphis, and then they're back home on, is it Friday or Saturday? When is that next?
So the Warriors are playing Memphis tomorrow, and then they're going to be playing the Lakers on the 28th on Saturday.
And Shardal will be our closer for that as well. Ryan Leong's going to join us for that one. And as you mentioned, Shardal, Friday is happy hour with the Professor Armando Lara. Armando, we missed you tonight. I didn't see the Professor in the chat. I feel like this would be a night where we would have seen him. But yeah, what's up?
It's great that you make me the closer. That's a true honor that you've given to me to make me close at every single show. On Golden Days.
It's an honor having you, Shardal.
You don't know how much of that means to me.
Well, you don't know how much.
And you're the greatest. You're the greatest person ever.
That's not true, but thank you though. You are amazing, Shardal. We love you.
You're such a great professor at San Jose State University. Yes. I'm always gonna bleed the blue and gold, just like the Warriors. Just like the Warriors.
And the Spartans. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, I'll see you on Wednesday, February 25th. I'll see you for the Warriors and Grizzlies post game show, and I'll see you on Friday for a happy hour with Armando Lara on. But thanks for having me on. Viewers, make sure to click the like button, smash the subscribe button, ring that notification bell for Golden Days. One of the greatest Golden State Warriors content you'll ever see. This man is committed. He comes after every Warriors game, home or away. Thanks for having me on. I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a great night, guys, and I'll see you back here on Wednesday on Golden Days.